Josh Parker jumps off of that start and gets a great jump over the number 89 machine. You see your top 4 falling in line already. Long race, not really any need to start getting it all wild up and wound up this early on into the event.
But since he's hanging on the outside lane, he makes it wide going out to the wall pretty much.
Oh, and here's our first strategy play. Krahula. This is a whole lot of unacceptable racing, guys. Hitting pit road very, very early in the race. I think the strategy here, get out of the pack, get out of the madness, and run by yourself. It's not going to surprise me to see these guys take 2 tires and fill it up full of gas.
Oh no, they couldn't get the left sides up. He was too close to the wall, and so he's just going to take 2 right side tires, spins the tires just a little bit, and he's on his way.
Well, and that is going to cycle our lead back up to James Krahula in the number 24 machine, followed by Tommy Ryan in the 6, Josh King in the 35, and Mark Allen in the 19. Remember, that was part of your first group of people that pitted very early on in the race. And with 27 laps to go, this is going to make it a one-stop race for these guys. Problems in turn 2 is, Ricky Harden is sideways. Put it out on the backstretch. Jody Green to the inside fence.
So, Josh Parker ran a lot of pedal. Green flag, we're back racing at Talladega.
And Parker jumping up there to a start. There is a little bit of a restart shenanigans there between the 22 and the 81. And there's Matt Lacrosse diving down to the bottom. He's going to leave Jake Wright all by his lonesome up there in the high groove. Looking back through the pack, everybody's kind of starting to file back out the single file. I mean, 22 laps to go. As I was talking about, if you're Eckrich, Cadell, Cohen, and Murray and all these guys, you better get to the front. I mean, at 22 laps, yes, it is a long time around here. Big checkup in turn 3 in the record. Put it out. Turns 3 and 4. Murray is involved. Harden is involved again. Mark Norbert got a part of that. There was just a big checkup going into turn 3. I don't know what caused it, but that just shot Howard involved. That got the 89 of Ward. Oh, man.
Ryan did everything he can to get the lead, and right now he might lose.
3 wide for the lead through the tri-oval. Collins to the top. Ryan to the middle. Ryan to the bottom. Parker into the middle. 3 by 3. Here they go. Who's Parker going to go behind? Lacrosse to the bottom. He's decided to put Ryan. Ryan's going to go back to the lead through turns 1 and 2, but not quite. 3 by 3. We got contact. Problems in turn 2. Big wreck.
And the big one has happened. Put it out at Talladega.
These guys have got one more shot at it through turn 2 for the final time. Ryan leading off of the corner. He's got Carroll. He's got Thompson right behind him. There goes Cohan to the outside. Is he going to bring anybody with him? Drew Carroll making a push to the outside. Here they go, side by side for the lead. Cohan, is he going to push the 87? Is he going to try to push him away? They're stacking up in the middle of the corner. Ryan has no help, though. Here comes Carroll to the outside. They're touching, they're banging, they're bumping. They're touching everywhere. Here they go. They're rocking up in turn 2. Here it comes. It's Ryan. It's Parker. Who's going to get the run to the lead? Here we go. Ryan, Parker. Who's going to get it? Give it to Parker. Josh Parker.
Wow, where was he on the coming off turn 4? He was outside the top 5 when that happened.
Where did he come from? Right there to the line. Your winning battle was separated on track. Let's see here in timing and scoring. 2/100ths of a second.
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and think he missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
This is Sparta, Kentucky, home of the Kentucky Speedway, a 1.5 mile D-shaped oval that was designed by Darrell Waltrip himself. If Kentucky is a quote-unquote cookie cutter track, it has certainly broken the mold. Its brand new smooth surface has aged through the harsh Kentucky winters, and it's developed to be a bumpy, cranky old worn-out surface. Its banking allows drivers freedom to run in multiple grooves and has become a fan and driver favorite track. The drivers of the AdvoCare Cup Series not only have to contend with each other, but the bumps on the track that will give the car absolutely fits as they navigate its surface, providing for some great racing action, and we will have it all live for you today in our flag-to-flag coverage of the Savage Spinners 200. Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek. Joining me in the booth as always is Tanner Sharp. Spinning the dials, moving the sliders, and making us sound twice as good as we look is director expert Amjad Yaman, who is using cameras provided to us by Dougie Beard. Tanner, talk to us about the challenges that Kentucky Motor Speedway throws at these drivers.
Oh man, Kentucky Speedway. Every time I think Kentucky Speedway, it is a bumpy racing surface. A 1.5 mile D-shaped oval, 14 degrees of banking in the corners of the racetrack, 8 to 10 degrees in the tri-oval of the racetrack, and these guys are facing some warm temperatures today, man. I'm telling you, it's 88 degrees in air temperature, 122 degree track temperature. So these guys are going to be slipping and sliding today, and with it being a bumpy surface today, it's going to eat up those tires drastically. For 134 laps tonight here at Kentucky, these guys are going to be facing the bumps all race long and be slipping and sliding, trying to catch their cars, and they're going to be screaming for tires. Now, before we move on to our championship standings, let's move on to our lap guide around the Kentucky Speedway.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around Kentucky Motor Speedway in the GSRC Chevrolet SS. Kentucky is an old, worn-out, bumpy track that is sure to leave these drivers worn out at the end of the race. So without further ado, let's just show you just how bumpy this place is. You can see just going down the front stretch, it kind of feels like you're in a cement mixer of some variety. But into turns 1 and 2. You want to ride this middle seam right here. If you go too low down there towards the yellow line, the car will step out on you in a heartbeat and not even think twice about it to regret it. Turn 3, use the started safer barrier as your braking point. Same situation here in 3 and 4. Run that middle groove, don't run all the way to the bottom, swinging it nice and high and wide off of the corner. Back down the very bumpy front straightaway that it leaves your arms worn out from fighting with it. As the race progresses, you may see guys venture up here into this groove because it lets you get a good hole shot down the back stretch. But if you get in it too quick, just like me right there, you get a little close to the fence coming off the corner. So it's something worth watching. Turns 3 and 4, not a whole lot of upper groove. You might see guys straddle that second seam up there, but for the most part, bottom, yeah, you can just watch this car get loose. Back down the very bumpy front stretch, and that will complete your guide around the Kentucky Motor Speedway. With its old worn-out surface, is actually getting replaced in real life, but not in the iRacing world. So, sure to leave these drivers worn out after fighting with these machines, especially with a newer, lower downforce package in these vehicles. So, this has been your guide around Kentucky Motor Speedway. I'm Brian Yazek.
And we are back live here at the Kentucky Speedway for the Premier Racing League AdvoCare Cup Series. Live here at the Kentucky Speedway. And now before we get on to our stories of the race, let's check out our championship standings after Talladega. Scott Edrick is leading the championship standings with 3 race wins on the chase grid. Jake Wright with that 1 win. He's now sitting in second, sitting pretty there. Jonathan Goodell with a win. He's sitting third. James Krahula 4th, and Tommy Ryan 5th. Ricky Harden is in 6th, and Dan Murray is 7th. Now, these upcoming guys I'm about to name off do not have a win yet, but can still possibly do it today. And that's Mr. Excitement himself, Drew Carroll in 8th, Matt Lacrosse in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, it's Rich Jetty. Brian, who's outside the top 10 there?
Well, outside the top 10 looking in is the number 33 driver, Ryan Howard, sitting 11th in points, and he has Rick Thompson Behind him in 12th, Rhett McBride, who was fastest in practice today, something worth noting. Sitting 13th, Don Ruckel Jr. 14th, Pierre Deigel in 15th. 16th, Jody Green, clutching on to that last spot in the standings inside of the chase. But just right outside of that window by one measly point is Eric Brundies. Nick Cohan, 3 markers back off of that. Josh King in 19th, and Jesse Fowler in 20th, 27 markers back. So as you can see, once we go off of there, we're seeing drivers cut their qualifying times right now. We'll have a full field review of that. But Tanner, we're back to, look at Harden hold on to that thing coming through there. So, I mean, let's kind of jump right to the big elephant in the room. Hot track. 88 ambient temperature with 122 degree track temp. I'll tell you what, I'm glad I'm sitting up here in the air-conditioned booth. How about that?
Oh, yes, definitely. When it's hot, slick conditions like this, it's not my style favorite of racing. But that's what the challenges these drivers are going to have to face today. When it's hot like this, the tires wear big. It's big tire fall off. So these guys are going to be screaming for tires. So what I'm looking for today is guys to be coming into pits early, because the fuel window is approximately about 38 laps. But I'm expecting some early comers for those 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, that's going to play the strategy game with the fuel window being about 38 laps, sorry. When do you try to cut that in? I mean, we were seeing at Texas a couple weeks ago, tires were falling off almost 3 seconds at the end of a run. So if you're sitting back there, let's say you're running 8th, 9th, 10th, and you're the first of those guys to hit pit road, you know you're going to make up a lot of ground on the guys that you're trying to run really hard on track with and race them down. But hey, you can come out there and run your normal line and gain 3 seconds on them. I mean, that is astounding when it comes to the tire wear. You see Rich Jetty holding on to it there, and now we're looking at Alec Marshall, the Fast Pro Shops. That's a sleek-looking car right there, I'll tell you what. The other thing that I'm kind of looking at is, we're back to a 1.5 mile speedway, which has traditionally, as this early part of the season has gone on, this has been Scott Echrich's playground. These 1.5 mile speedways, with Cadell also picking up a victory when we were in Vegas, which is fairly similar to Kentucky in a sense. It's a little bit more smooth, but would it surprise you to see Eckrich kind of reassert his name back at the top of the 1.5 miles?
It's certainly not. Scott Eckrich is, he can do anything. It just seems like, and he can be a front runner every single week, and he has proven at any racetrack that we go to. So if Scott Ettrick, if he gets to pole or starts somewhere up towards the front tonight, I do look for him to be a factor and a threat to win this race. Anything can happen here on the iRacing simulation services and in the NASCAR world. So, who knows? Anything could happen. But one thing about the whole tire fall off is, what if we go into a fuel mileage race? Some guys might pit much later, and according to their fuel run, they might pit. Some guys may pit earlier, but the guys that pit earlier, we stay green, they might be looking towards a fuel mileage race. We'll just have to wait and see and find out.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have a unique situation here. We're actually going to be talking to 2 drivers that will be out there on the track today, Dan Murray and Jonathan Cadell, who have survived Talladega. First of all, I believe they'll probably talk to us about that. But tell us, guys, in whatever order, however guys you want to go, what do you think about this hot track here in Kentucky?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It is very slick, and you're going to see a lot of cars spinning out and losing control. Hopefully not, but it's going to be an interesting race, that's for sure.
Dan, do you have anything to say?
It's a handful, but I think it's going to be one of those races that has the potential to be really fun. But as long as there's not 18 cautions, it should be a pretty good race.
Sounds good. Now, I did mention this as to kind of lead you guys in, but you had a big steel horse racing meetup down there in Talladega. Talk to us about that a little bit, or share that. Now, remember, we are live on GSRC, so tell us the stories that can make air and not the
PG.
the ones that you talk about on your stream there, Cadell.
Well, it was a spur of the moment thing for I know Dan didn't decide to come up till like the night before, and I had planned to trip out for a while, and us at Steelhorse had talked about it for a while, but all of a sudden a lot of us were going, and it was just real neat to put faces to the names and all that. We had a lot of good times, and as Dan said, he lost his phone there at Bible study, as he will say. That's his excuse, at least. We did some things, like I said, probably shouldn't say on air, but for the most part, man, it was a blast just to hang out with friends, and it was meeting them, but it's like you've known them your whole life kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually was able Saturday night to go up on, I'm not sure even what they call it, but there's like this parade road for the campground, and I could not believe the amount of people that were selling melons. It was unbelievable.
Selling melons. Okay. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories out of the Talladega
Well, I don't know
infield,
if it was selling them or more of like a judging contest on melons.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. There's, yeah, you know what? There's probably a deeper meaning there. I'm just going to let that one go, I think. Hey, we're going to let you get back in there and, tackle Kentucky. But, yeah, I'm being mocked by my director for not getting the melons comment right off the top of my head. So that's going to be a thing. We'll let you guys get back to the car. Any final words before we let you go?
Hey, just good luck to my Steel Horse teammates out there, and hopefully we can survive the night. And if you guys want the non-PG version, make sure you tune in to Steel Horse Racing TV.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. It should be pretty awesome. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting. You guys do a great job. And, everybody loves a good melon. See you.
That's for sure. That was the voice of Dan Murray and Jonathan Cadell, both taken to the track tonight. And apparently, Tanner, you're gonna have to do most of the heavy lifting because that one went right over my head. All right. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a pole lap, which, stop me if you've heard this before, but Scott Eckrich is going to be your Savage Spinners Pole Award. Savage Spinners are unique river and stream lures created in the Pacific Northwest, handmade quality from the United States to entice fish at an affordable cost. You see here, he is going to win pole by right about half a tenth over Brian Mellendorf, who was our winner last night in the Coastal Safety Autos Grand National Series. That was also live at Kentucky on the Global Sim Racing channel last night. So,
yeah, definitely. And ladies and gentlemen, if you all are watching this broadcast right now, Scott Eckrich is the only driver in the field to hit a 31. Whether it was in practice or qualifying. He's the only driver to do it. In practice, he was in the 32s. In qualifying, he was in the 31s. So it just comes to show Scott Eckrich had a bad machine, a bad-ass machine. So looking forward for pretty much like a dominance of Scott Eckrich, unless Brian Mellendorf can challenge him. I mean, he's not far off on lap times.
No, and Mellendorf was a strong contender last night, pulling off the victory. So, having run a race around here in those type of track conditions, it was a sunny race last night as well. Running out there gets some experience. Eckrich didn't run last night, but Eckrich did pick up the victory in the truck series that the Premier Racing League also puts on. That runs Sunday nights. He picked up the victory there. So both drivers starting 1-2 have had a lot of laps around here before we even fire off tonight. So as you see there, a couple seconds left on screen, and we will go through a full field rundown here. We're going to pull that up right now, Mr. Director. Hey, there we go. As we talked about, Scott Eckrich, your Savage Spinner Pole Award, with Brian Mellendorf outside him in row 1. Row 2 comprised of Tommy Ryan in 3rd, Drew Carroll, Mr. Excitement himself, in 4th. I don't see him standing there very long. Rhett McBride, fastest in practice, 5th on the charts in qualifying. Only, as you can see, not even a 10th off of the pole time. Dan Murray, we talked to him in the pre-race, starting 6th, followed by Jeff Ward in 7th. Ricky Harden, who had that big moment on screen getting warmed up for his qualifying times, that was able to reel that one back in. And was sitting there, and he's got back up to 8th. 9th, DJ Beverly, and 10th, Jake Wright.
And outside the top 10 is Josh Parker. 12th place, Jonathan Cattell, who we just recently heard from. 13th place is James Krahula. 14th is Paul Pepper. 15th is Ryan Howard. 16th is Chad Stallman. 17th place is Jody Green. 18th place is Nick Cohan. Woodrow Mahan will start 19th tonight. And rounding out the top 20 is Pari Daigle.
Sitting in 21st, rolling off the grid tonight, Don Runkle Jr. with Alec Marshall. The last driver reported to take time there in 22nd. These drivers, as you see on screen, did not take time. Matt Lacrosse in 23rd, Brad Collins 24th, Rick Thompson 25th, 26th to Rich Jetty, 27th to Calvin Filarski, 28th to Danny Sanchez, Josh King in 29th, and Benny Ellison in 30th.
And outside the top 30 is Jeff Ryan. 32nd place is Mark Nobert. And rounding out the 33-car field is Brandon Minnick.
Look at that. We got through all that, and the cars haven't even rolled off pit road yet. So we do it. Oh, now they're rolling. Okay, so we got that timed off pretty good. So, with that being said, a lot of guys, there's probably going to be some comers and goers, as you talked about there, Tanner. So really, as this one boils out, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be curious to see if anybody has anything for Eckrich, because he has proven to be fast on every part of the run, the start, the middle, and even the long run. So, but I'm looking at Tommy Ryan right there in third. Old Reinhardt there. He's really, really good on the long runs. So he really knows how to take care of his stuff and make it last towards the end. So a lot of different storylines going on earlier on in this race. And we're just going to have to, we get the fun part. We get to sit back and watch it all unfold and talk to you guys at home about it. So if you're sitting there at home, make sure that you're up there on the edge of your seat. You got your favorite beverage of choice filled up. Maybe some popcorn right there with you, because we're going to go live in the Savage Spinners 200 here. Ford Mustang pace car looking to make the dive off of the track onto pit road, turning the field over to the driver of that number 70, Rocket Man himself, Scott Eckrich, who is now bringing the field down here, 60 miles an hour, waiting, going, a little bit of tire spin off there, green flag into the air, Scott Eckrich gets the jump, and the Savage Spinners 200 is underway.
And what a launch by Scott Eckrich at the start part of this race, as Brian Mellendorf might be under attack from Tommy Ryan himself. Not yet, but Drew Carroll is being under attack. Actually, they're all single file on the backstretch here.
Yeah, the first battle is back there in between the number 33 of Howard. Let's see, where was that at? At least I thought that was there. No, Drew Carroll, Tommy Ryan, battle for third coming through turns 3 and 4, as you see on screen. Carroll to the bottom, Ryan to the outside. Let's see who is going to make it stick from the corner. Ryan is going to be able to make it work from the top side, but is Carroll going to get the momentum from the bottom? Let's see, that top side, you can get a good head of steam. Ooh, I think Ryan pushed up just a little bit as they almost make contact off of turn 2.
Wow, that was close, but man, these guys, they're not racing side by side anymore, but that's going to put Rhett McBride in the picture here.
That will. Rhett was watching that battle in the popcorn position, and now all of a sudden, here he is, finding himself in a battle for fourth behind Tommy Ryan. Wow, there you go. Rhett McBride, move him up to position number 4, with Ryan falling back just a little bit, but like we said, this is a long race, and that kind of works right into the hands of the driver of that number 6. There is a side-by-side battle back there for 10th between Dan Murray and last week's surprise winner, Josh Parker.
Ryan is not liking the handling of his race car at all. He pretty much had to let Rhett McBride by on the high side last time by. But yeah, Tommy Ryan, it looks like, I'm not Tommy Ryan, but it just looks like he is not feeling comfortable in that race car right now.
It might be, maybe just waiting for a good set of feel there, but really everybody single file all the way back. A battle for position, actually. Well, it was a battle for position. It's not anymore. It was between Jake Wright and Paul Pepper there for battle for 12.
Holy
there
man.
we go. Now you see it on screen.
The racetrack, Jonathan Caddell on the high side. Jake Wright on the high side as well. I'm just curious to see how well that high side is really going to work. Can Dan Murray make that bottom stick in the early going?
There's a way that you can make that bottom work. It does take a little bit of patience. Maybe with these higher horsepower cars and the lower downforce, it doesn't want to stick just that nice off the corner. So you might find yourself in trouble. Wright drives right up to the rear bumper of Cadell there. Murray still on the bottom side with Pepper
Bottom
going
ain't
around the
working
high
very
side.
good. And that bottom side is not working good very well for Dan Murray, as now he's going to be under attack from the 33 car of Ryan Howard.
Turn 3 can be really deceiving here at Kentucky because it's so wide that if you really don't pay attention to your marks, it's very, very easy to overdrive every part of that corner and set yourself up to lose some positions. So
it really is. And when you get loose in the corners, especially on a bumpy track surface like this, it can throw you off guard just a little bit.
Who's that in front of them? Someone just got a little squirrely there. That was the 02,
DJ Beverly.
He had a big moment coming off of the corner, had it wrecked, and then saved it miraculously. I'm going to show you on replay exactly what we saw here. You see, turn 4, just as you push up to the wall, you've got so much wheel into it that you see right there, the rear just wants to come around and meet the front of the car. And he's got no other option other than just sit back, let the field go by, and just try to work your way back up again. He's fallen all the way back to the 15th position.
Holy cow, Dan Murray, James Carula, DJ Beverly, and I believe that's a 21 car of Nick Cohan. These guys have been battling just a little bit here. DJ Beverly, nice recovery by him in that Dr. Pepper machine. But James Carula trying to get that high side working. Looks like he's going to get the run off turn number 2 on Dan Murray.
Well, this would surprise nobody that you see Dan Carula up at the top part of the track trying to make a high groove work. You know, he likes to ride up there in the old Harry Gant line. So he's not as handsome as Harry Gant, and he'll tell you that too. So it's not a surprise to see Krahula up there trying to make it work.
Side by side back here, not too far behind these guys right here. It's Woodrow Mahan and number 22 of Matt Lacrosse. Just ahead of him is Jody Green. These guys have been battling side by side for quite a few laps, experimenting on where the line is, where's the most grip. I see some cars are sliding around just a little bit. They're having some nice saves.
Everybody's just kind of playing nice right now, but something worth noting. Fall off after 10 laps on the tires, already half a second. So you take that out and get there, you know, it wouldn't surprise me to see these times fall off 2.5 seconds over the end of the run. So we'll have to keep that in mind as the race works itself out. Right now, the best battle on screen, or the best battle on the track, is this battle that we're looking at right here between Lacrosse and Mahan. Mahan gives it up going into the corner, letting Lacrosse take that very high line going into the corner entry, trying to pin it down. Actually, up front, Nick Cohan in that John Deere green on a hot summer night, making the bottom try to work off the corner. Brand new paint scheme for Cohan tonight. Getting my words all oh boy. Oh, it's going to be good when the words are already stumbling out of me, but we will we'll make that better. So up front, nothing really going on. This is, like I said, this is about the best battle.
Tell you what, yeah, this is probably the best battle here with those guys and the guys a little bit ahead of them. That's the number, who's that? DJ Beverly and Nick Cohan, Dan Murray, and James Krahula. Dan Murray, he's been trying to get some positions back the best he can here, but it looks like he's just trying to get into that middle groove. That's where he's getting the most grip. Oh, he went pretty hard in turn number 1 there. Had a lift just a little bit. That's going to allow Nick Cohan to get a run on exit.
Cohan looking to make the move on Murray going through turns 3 and 4. You see Cohan taking a very easy entrance into that corner, not trying to make those tires angry, because if you make that right front angry throughout the run, looking out back here of Murray onto that hood of the 21 machine, if you make that right front angry towards the end of the run, it just will not play along. So you really have to mind the temperatures and really think about how you're driving it, so you don't really make the tires angry, because if you take care of the tires will take care of you at the end of the run.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And speaking of all that, I think we might. It's 2:10 off, but we might be shaping up for a battle of the lead, because Mellendorf is not too far behind of Scott Eckrich there. Scott Eckrich, it looks like, is just taking his time running his race. Same with Brian Mellendorf, but it just seems Brian Mellendorf's just a tick quicker, but that last time by, they were pretty much even.
Yeah, I was kind of keeping an eye on the timing and scoring there, and you're right. It give or take a tenth, maybe even give or take half a tenth is really what was happening. So See different lines coming off the corner too. Eckridge preferring to stay away from that fence. Mellendorf letting the car roam all the way up to the fence and try to really get up ahead of steam. But sure enough, as soon as we look at it, the gap has expanded out from 0.2 when we looked at it to now about 0.6 back. So the old commentator's curse on that part, at least.
Well, I'll tell you
Whoa.
what. Uh-oh.
Someone's smoking. Who is? That's Mark Norbert. And he's keeping it low, not bringing out a caution. He can hang out right in that line. What happened to him? I mean, that's some heavy front-end impact and some engine smoke. So,
as of right now, he's on the apron of the racetrack, pretty much on the pathway of the racetrack down there, keeping out of harm's way. It's not going to bring out a caution, it looks like.
no, and Norbert's going to get to pit road there. And you see Filarski right behind him. Filarski didn't start the race with the grid. He stayed on pit road. He's about 13 laps down. So I'm wondering if Filarski is also having some bigger issues. Trying to maybe some kind of equipment issues or some kind of technical issues or something like that that's preventing him from going off and competing much tonight. But back on screen, there's the number 70 machine, Scott Eckridge, making that car nice and fast. I mean, there he is in the middle part of the run, about 1/10 up on Mellendorf, and now that gap has grew another 0.2 of a second since we last left off on it.
Looks like Mr. Excitement himself, Drew Carroll, is now trying to catch Brian Mellendorf.
And the way that one's going, I wonder if Mellendorf maybe... Nope, we got a caution. Put it out! It's the 30, I believe. Nope. Was it Mahan?
Woodrow Mahan, spinning on the backstretch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Rick Thompson's part of it too. What happened? There's Mahan. Where's Thompson getting involved? Oh, he spins up the track. Oh my, that collected Mahan. Oh wow, Rich Jetty is part of that. Oh.
Kentucky and Taylor, the effects.
Oh, there's Jetty involved. Oh wow.
Guys, they're starting to feel the effects of those tires on this longer run, and that was almost a 20-lap run. That was about 16-lap run there, Brian.
Yeah, that was just kind of a weird stack up as everybody was coming out of the corner there. And there you see.
Everybody's coming in.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see any heroes staying out this early on in the race. Everybody to pit road, and I guarantee everybody will be bolting 4 fresh field goods on those cars.
Man, I tell you, if you take 2 tires here, you're gonna be a lonely puppy. I mean, I think tires just mean way too much in these hot temperatures.
That is, you're watching the field here. We're gonna have a race off pit road. I have a feeling that number 1 pit stall from Eckridge is gonna pay dividends, and that's absolutely the case. Eckridge getting away. Tommy Ryan the second. Brett McBride getting up there in third. Everybody hitting the green cone.
Yeah. Scott Eckridge's like, man, I don't care. I'm going to run over that cone. He just wanted to beat Tommy Ryan out.
That he did. The poor cone is forever in our thoughts. The green cone.
Yeah, there should be a Twitter account of that. The green cone instead of the orange cone.
I really think there is, actually. I think I stumbled upon it one time. Just looking for some random iRacing stuff. And I thought, oh, well, that's kind of clever. So... We'll kind of get a reset here of the field as once they come around and get a lap and get timing and scoring updated. We'll take a look here and see who got where. But it looks like for the most part...
Tommy Ryan, he gained 2 spots on that pit stop, is now currently in 2nd place. So that must have been a great pit stop for Tommy Ryan.
That it was a 12... Wow, about a 12.6 from what I can see on timing and scoring. Blazing stop from that crew. So with that being said, the big loser on pit road almost looks like Jonathan Cadell. Is he still on pit road? I'm watching him like drop back.
Jonathan Cadell is on pit road according to here, unless I'm not on the live update here.
No, I'm just wondering if he had some kind of damage that we didn't see, or I mean, something like that. He was running right about in the top 10.
Jonathan Cadell, Josh King on pit road. Those guys were on the lead lap. Rick Thompson entering the pit road, but I believe he was just involved in this caution that came out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see the left front of that car really. That's a weird way to see that fender bent up. I don't think I've ever seen the graphic like that before, so that's interesting. But with that being said, back up to the front of the field, your order off of pit road. Scott Eckrich keeps the lead with Tommy Ryan in second, Rhett McBride third, Brian Mellendorf dropping 2 spots down to fourth, Drew Carroll in fifth, Ricky Harden sixth, Jeff Ward seventh, Jake Wright, get a great pit stop and gets his way up into the top 10 in 8th. Last week's winner, Josh Parker, in 10th. Oh, there we go. Josh Parker in 9th, Paul Pepper in 10th. There we go. They were moving around on the track, and that was throwing my scoring.
Yeah, just a little bit. Some guys are just trying to, like Scott Ettrick, he's just trying to go ahead to pace the car and kind of back off. I wonder if he's just saving just a little bit of fuel. I mean, it could be could be clutching it in or something. Or, I mean, it is possible to turn off the cars here on iRacing too, so he could be doing that as well.
Absolutely. That's something I use when I'm trying to conserve fuel. I've even done it during a race once, and I'll tell you what, that's a very scary feeling going off into the corner, shutting the engine off and just hoping. You never realize how much of your braking and how many of your marks are by sound when you don't have the engine sound to kind of guide you in there. But funny enough, with that race, I ended up running out of fuel out of turn 4. So that one didn't quite work out too good for me. So a lot of drivers probably looking to have a better result tonight. Field working their way down the backstretch.
Yeah, definitely. I'm wondering if we get a long green flag run, Brian, I wonder if we do get a fuel mileage race in this race, do you think that would put the advantage in the guys who pit much later than the guys who come in early?
I believe so. I mean, if you're trying to cut a stop off of it, you know, if you're having to pit 20 laps in or 15 laps in, I don't know if the tire fall off and whatnot is going to be worth it, but a driver that's definitely thinking about it right now, Scott Eckrich, getting onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. A lot of tire spin behind him, but Eckrich is going to get away scot-free.
Man, oh man, Rhett McBride really spun the tires just a little bit there. He's not going to get to the high side because it looks like the high side was the preferred groove. And a little slip up from Rhett McBride. Tommy Ryan on the high side. Ryan Mellendorf, here he comes. Rhett McBride might close the door on him. Too little, too late. Mr. Excitement himself will move up a spot. That's Drew Carroll in the 87.
Absolutely. He was one I saw get him on a tire spin off the corner too, so he's been able to rebound that quite nicely. But as the field settles off, Mellendorf trying to hang on back there for the 4th position, taking a really high wide, because if you follow the natural apron down the front stretch, you follow the natural groove, that is, it's very bumpy down by the yellow line, so it surprised me to see him up the track a little bit. But I think he was waving to the guy on the flag stand with how far up the track he was.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And honestly, quite everywhere except maybe the back stretch. I think the smoothest part of the racetrack is probably that back stretch. I'd have to go out there and turn some laps, but obviously I'm not in a car right now. So, but yeah, everywhere else is really bumpy, especially down turn number 3. There's a bump in the middle of the corner of 3, and there's definitely a bump at the start-finish line, and there's quite a few bumps in turns 1 and 2. As Brian Mellendorf caught on the bottom of the racetrack, who has one of the best cars on the racetrack. He's slipping back just a little bit. Oh, getting a little loose. Looked like he got a little loose.
Just a hair. That bottom groove, you see it right there. If you try to ride that seam too much in these high-powered cars, it just de-wedges it. It makes it get really, really free and loose off of the corner. It's not a very pleasant feeling at all. And Tanner, I'll go ahead and spoil it for you. The smoothest part of the track is pit road right now.
Yeah,
so.
There you go. And that is exactly true.
So with that being out there, these guys are fighting it, and 134 laps doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're wheeling these things around, I could wear you out by the end of it. But I'll tell you what, I'm looking at a battle of the 80s right there. 89 on top, 81 on bottom. Everybody sliding off of the corner. Josh Parker on the bottom, trying to take the position away from Jeff Ward. Side by side. Eckrich! Something's wrong with Eckrich!
He must have gotten loose.
Slown big time. iRacing does not have flat tires or random engine failures. What happened to him? Oh! He got really aggressive in turns 3 and 4 and caught the fence coming off of 4. Then slid down Oh, wow, yeah, we need to see that on the replay right there. Eckert caught the fence a ton off of the corner.
Yeah, he caught the fence. He must have got loose and tried to catch the race car, and when he tried to catch the race car, he hit the outside wall, and it shot him towards the inside of the racetrack, but tremendous save by Scott Eckert. I mean, holy cow. I mean, that could have been big right there.
And he even mowed a little bit of grass down the front stretch with it, too, so. But he's still riding there in fourth. I mean, he's holding on to it. Another caution, a longer caution, or the next yellow flag I'd expect him to see on pit road, and I would expect him to try to get as much damage as fixed on that car as possible. Any kind of right front damage, you just instantly tighten up the car, and it's not a very good feeling driving around here when you have to take care of the right front, and now you're aero tight.
And I'm telling you, some race fans will say, well, isn't that a good thing if it's hot, slick conditions where these guys are sliding around all over the place? It can be, but that damage can play a significant role later in the run. It'll tighten the car up big time, but it'll just get tighter and tighter. And usually when the car gets tighter and tighter, it's slower. As they say, loose is fast.
Well, and when it's tighter and tighter like that, you're really putting a lot of strain on that right front, and you need the right front to make the corners. You can't really abuse it too much. You burn it off when you're tight. So with an already tight car because of aerodynamics, watch Ricky Hart drift that corner off the 2 right there. That was pretty good driving. But with that being said, I mean, from a lap time standpoint, even with the damage right now, he's right about lap time wise as fast as Ryan. Ooh, man, I'm watching guys get squirrely there. Battle for position back there.
Battle for second right here, Mr. Excitement. Drew Carroll side by side with Brett McBride, Scott Eckert, Oh, almost contact between Drew Carroll and Brett McBride. Almost. They saved it, but Scott Eckert, that damage is not affecting him. He is back in the game, trying to fight for another position within the top 5 as he's so close to the back bumper of that number 2.
Eckert is trying, and he's just going to try to make it work. And here he comes off the corner, getting on the inside of Brett McBride, diving it down there. Is Brett going to give up the position and let him die, or is he going to fight? Ooh, wow! Brett almost drifted up and hit the fence going off into one.
Easy, boys. Okay, Brett McBride, he had a lift right there, otherwise he would have caught the right rear quarter panel. Oh, Scott Eckert there, and man, these guys are slipping and sliding all over the place. Scott Eckert seems like he's just a tick tight. But, man, as Dale Earnhardt Jr. would put it, Kentucky Speedway is pretty much a roller coaster ride.
That's for sure. The way that the bumps really make the car upset and ungulate, I think, is the official word there. That's a $3.50 word out of my $1.50 vocabulary. So enjoy that one out there, viewers. But, yeah, I mean, I think at this point in the run, the tightness might not be hurting him too much. But I'm still thinking with that right front damage, he's going to want to get it repaired.
Number 15, Ricky Harden almost hit the wall. He had to check up. Now that's going to allow Jake Wright on the bottom of the race, getting onto the inside of him.
I'll tell you what, I think Ricky must have watched Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift before the race, because I've seen him sideways off of turns 2 and turns 4 more than anybody else.
Yeah, definitely. These guys are just they're catching a race car. I mean, honestly, they're not even driving the race cars. They're just a passenger. I mean, that's how bad these cars are loose.
It's just pure driving instinct at that point. There he gets loose again, man. There is something else. The right rear, if you turn 3 and 4, you can really, when you get too aggressive with it, you can slide the car. And at that point, you're going to make the right rear angry. And really, if you make both the right side tires upset and you really overwork them, you're going to see exactly what's happening to the 15 right now. Everywhere he goes to try to touch the gas, the car wants to step out because that right rear and the right front are both heated up more than those tires would really like to be, and they're not allowing him a good amount of grip level, and he's really having to fight with it.
Yeah, he just got really loose again off turn number 2. He's going to have to find some place to where he can try to make the attempt to cool off the tires just a little bit. A little more than a little bit, but I mean, man, it's just every time he gets off turn 2, it just wants to snap around on him. And I'm seeing a lot of guys just struggling more in 1 and 2 than what it is in 3 and 4. It just looks like they have more grip in 3 and 4 than in turns 1 and 2.
I'll tell you what, the driver is getting a good amount of grip right now. Scott Eckert all over the rear bumper of Drew Carroll for second. I just happened to look up in the timing and scoring and see that the gap between them was separated by 0.0. So I thought that was something worth talking about. But as soon as we talk about it, it seems like they just kind of fall away from each other. And you can see the right front, and it looks like he's mostly got that car hurt behind the right front tire, which, now that I'm kind of looking at it, that's probably not the worst spot in the world to have damage.
It's not. It doesn't look like it's heavy damage. If it was heavier damage, then I would not be expecting him running up in third place like how he is right now. But it just looks like it's just minor damage on the race car, and Scott Eckridge realizes that. So he's just taking advantage of that and just trying to run his race. He's not being as super aggressive on the throttle as he was when he did have that misfortune down turn number 4. But right now, he's slowly but gaining.
And I think that view off of the rear bumper of Drew Carroll showed it perfectly. Whoa, as everybody gets a little tight off of the corner there. You could see the front end, and I think Carroll is just saying, all right, you know what? You're not going anywhere. Just go ahead. You're not getting away from me. Go ahead, burn your stuff out. I'll catch you back at the end of the run. So,
we got a caution.
Put it out.
Caution is out here at Kentucky Speedway. Do we have to see what the incident is?
Let's see here. Yeah, that would be the number 88 of Jeff Ryan.
Jeff Ryan had a great run last week in Talladega.
And he did. Yeah, coming off of turn 2. Just bit him again.
That's our second caution of this race, and for both of those cautions were both for incidents of cars spinning off turn number 2. So it just seems like turn 2 is the danger zone as a run goes on. And I'm telling you, Brian, this is about the same length of a green flag run as we had the previous green flag run that we had. It's about 16 laps. So I'm not sure if tires are playing a factor in this. It's possibly could well be, but man, yeah, guys are just getting loose off that turn number 2 corner.
That is. Turn 2 is kind of calamity corner around here just because of the way that it exits off and the banking kind of goes away. And even in the track guide, the lap guide that we showed you pre-race, even I doing the lap guide got a little squirrely off of turn 2. So it is entirely possible that, these guys are going to be fighting it. And probably by that point in the run, it's the tires are gone and they're falling off that much more. So that's making turn 2 that much more extra difficult for these guys, as everybody looks like Rhett McBride overshot his pit a hair, but looks like everybody else up there made it into their stalls.
Now one person is taking 2 tires. We do got a 2-tire gambler, I believe. That's who's that, number 22, Matt Lacrosse.
Yes, it is.
And we do have a car that stayed out on the racetrack, and that is Rick Thompson.
It wouldn't surprise me if Rick Thompson's getting... I'm sorry, I was listening to a little bit of in-chat. Wouldn't surprise me if Rick Thompson is staying out to get caught up all the way behind the pace car and then peel off and get some damage repaired. So, with that being said, I believe the 00 Don Runkle Jr. Was our Coastal Safety Auditors Lucky Dog Award. There you see him right there, and there you see Brutus, the lucky dog. Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire and life safety equipment and services. So, he hit pit road a little early there, and it paid off for him in spades. He gets 1 lap back, so now he's back to 1 lap down, and if we get another quick caution, it's going to work out perfectly because he is the only car 1 lap down.
Oh, as I said, the lonely little puppy on the racetrack, in my opinion. Not to be rude to Matt Lacrosse, it's definitely a gamble to start off with, since we're getting about 16 laps, approximately 16 laps on a green flag run. And as Matt Lacrosse, number 22, he's the one that took 2 tires, everybody else 4 tires. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Brandon Minnick is going to stay out on the racetrack.
Minnick is out there right now, but he hasn't hit pit road, so he might be peeling off on 2 to go here and maybe getting it full of fuel, topped off. You see that number 30 machine on screen. I'll tell you what, Matt Lacrosse back there, Michigan's own, personal thing here. That's some Werner sponsorship right there. I'm happy to see that car. In case anybody out there outside of Michigan does not know what Werner's is, which it wouldn't surprise me, Werner's is a Michigan-made ginger ale. So good to see a Michigan guy have a Michigan sponsor on that car.
Yeah, definitely. And according to the thread right here, it looks like Brandon Minnick is currently on 21 or 20 lap old tires. Let's see if he goes down pit road this time by. If not, then I believe he is taking the option to stay out.
Oh boy.
And he
Oh,
does
boy.
not go down pit road, so that's about approximately 20 lap old tires Brandon Minnick is on. Matt Lacrosse right behind him is on 2 right side tires, and everybody else is on 4 tires. So it's interesting strategy gamble. I don't think it's the correct call by these guys, but it looks like Matt Lacrosse, I mean, he's doing everything track position wise, and I understand Brandon Minnick too, but I think that's just too long of a run to really gamble.
Yeah. Oh boy. This could get ugly off this restart, but I'm hoping that everybody, kind of holds it together, just like Tanner's holding his mic open right now. There we go. and let's see here. So with that being said, your field off of pit road. Minnick is your leader after staying out. Matt Lacrosse on 2 tires. 4 tires on back. Tommy Ryan, Scott Eckrich, Drew Carroll, Jake Wright, Brian Mellendorf, Jeff Ward, Josh Parker, and Ricky Harden. Rhett McBride overshooting his pit stall cost him big time because now he is sitting back there towards the back half of the top 10. With that being said, that seems to be my favorite phrase tonight. Here we go with the restart. Ford Mustang pace car looking to hit pit road, giving the field over to Brandon Minnick.
Whoa!
Whoa, what is going on there on the start?
Here. We're going green here, it looks like, and Brandon Minnick, don't spin
Here we
those
go.
tires.
Green flag. Minnick trying to not get any kind of wheel spin, but he's going to come up right in front of Lacrosse. Lacrosse going up top. He can't stop Eckrich. Eckrich goes up top, but Minnick blocks him. Eckrich to third. Matt Lacrosse to second, but not for long. Here comes Eckrich to the outside on a power move coming off of turn 2. Minnick now is going to drop through the field like a boat anchor.
Oh man, roadblock, drastic roadblock. Oh man, these guys are stacking up on the backstretch there. Brandon Minnick looks like he's going to go. Oh, he's in a wall. Yeah, he scraped the wall. He's just doing everything he can to stay out of there. Somebody just blinked out. That was Ricky Harden on my end. But man, dropping back goes Brandon Minnick, and Matt Lacrosse is now falling back a couple of positions here. He's still under attack from several cars, and I don't think 2 tires was the way to go. Almost gets run over by Jake Wright.
Tell you what, there, that was, oh boy. I mean, you go from the lead to 17th in 1 lap. That and the free fall continues. Cadell's gotten around him. Mahan's gotten around him. Let's see here.
Oh,
Benny Allison.
Jake Wright in the grass. He's going down pit road. He did not hit the commitment line. Oh, I think he's hit the wall. He hit the wall big time.
Oh, and Wright's going to have big issues there. I mean, besides the damage, we're going to show you to that on replay. He just gets loose on the very bottom of the track. What happened to him? I don't think he got loose.
I don't know. He did pit for 4 tires last time by. He must have gotten loose. Must have gotten loose because he's hitting the wall, he's trying to save it, but he actually goes into his did he land in his pit box? That would be something. Oh, he did. He towed it.
Yeah, he must
have gotten loose. I don't see him taking a hard left towards pit road like that.
Well, the winner a couple weeks ago sitting on pit road, and one of the strangest occurrences I've seen recently, but
oh my gosh! Oh, Nick Cohan! Oh man! They were 3 wide trying to get around Matt Lacrosse here. They're still stacking up just a little bit. It's a scary moment here, but holy cow! I thought these guys were going to wreck just for a split second.
And I was talking to Cohan behind the haulers in the garage this morning, and he's really low on driver credit, so I'm looking for that 21 machine to really probably drive a more conservative race than he would like to. Because if he was able to finish this race with 0x, that's going to get him the number of credits back and really make it safe. Who's that way up top there?
That's Ryan Howard right there. He almost got in the back of Jody Green, and he had to check up, but still washed up the racetrack. As these guys are still stacking up, they have a little gap over Matt Lacrosse there, who's still on 2 tires. Battle for the lead though, Scott Eckrich and Tommy Ryan.
I don't think that car's hurt too bad. Eckrich back out front after a number of laps sitting behind the number 6 Northern Tool and Tiles.
Caution is
Put
out.
it out, and I'm going to surprise to say it's turn 2, isn't it? Jody Green. Yep. Turn 2 claims another victim. Jody Green up to the fence. Oh, well, that was bizarre. Oh, all right. When we get through with this, I want to see an onboard of Krahula.
Here, oh, he just snapped loose, tried to save it, got tapped from behind from Ryan Howard. Oh, Krahula almost gets hit.
Come on, give me the onboard. Give me the onboard, Amjad. This is going to be good. Here we go. You're about to witness a man having a pucker factor moment of about a 100th degree. You can see Jody Green up there in that number 13 machine, high off of turn 2, just gets a little squirrely, tries to save it, gets back up, and then, oh boy, that was close. 4 tires and a change of underwear for the driver of the number 24.
Oh, man, exactly. I mean, he's probably getting on the radio right now saying, a change of underwear, please. Holy cow. But, man, oh, man, yeah, that's very close for James Krahula, but very unfortunate for Jody Green. But now I believe these guys are coming down pit road for 4 tires.
Yeah, everybody hitting pit road with 10 laps. I was curious to see if anybody was going to stay out, but it looks like of all your front runners, everybody has hit pit road. This time, I think maybe Murray, Danger Dan Murray, might be the only one out there on those sets of tires, staying out. But he was the last one to pit there, too, so we'll have to see how that works. Eckrich sliding into the box, hits his marks perfectly. So does Ryan, so does Mellendorf.
Oh, man, looks like Mellendorf may have gotten a little, he was a little late getting to his pit box there, so everybody's getting their left sides put on. Mellendorf is a little bit behind. He's going to lose quite a few positions here.
4 tires for everybody. I thought maybe at 10 laps someone might do a 2-tire stop. Let's see here. I don't know who got the lucky dog there. It may have been Jeff Ryan, but I think Ryan is
it's not. It's not Jeff Ryan.
I think it's Runkle again.
I think it's Don Runkle
because
for
now
lucky dog.
Well, I don't know. Well, we're going to keep Brutus in the cage for one more time around. Jake Wright back on track as well with a heavily beaten up left front. What was that, Director? Well, let's give everybody at home a chance to gather their thoughts and reset. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to you after commercials. Back to the Savage Spinners 200. Welcome back to the Savage Spinners 200 at Dan needs to hang out on last caution with a lap on the tire, about 8 of those being green flag laps, though. So see if he's able to hold on better than a minute over that course of the run. Eckridge to the outside in second. Ward now move him up to position 3. Tommy Ryan there in 4th with Drew Carroll 5th. 6th to Josh Parker, 7th to Ricky Harden. Tokyo Drift himself. Rhett McBride back up to 8th. 9th to Nick Cohan after starting 18th, just slowly and meticulously working his way through the field. And 10th to Brian Mellendorf. Had a very slow pit stop that time by. But someone that did not even have a pit stop. Dan Murray in control of the field here. Mustang pace car hits pit road. Dan Murray bringing the field down 60 miles an hour. Waiting, going, green flag back into the air. Let's see if Murray can hold on to it this time by. He's got Eckridge right up to the door. Down the front stretch as they're going to try to stack up 2 or 3 wide there. Parker, Carroll, Ward, everybody was going to try to find it.
Ward out of control. Ward's a little bit out of control. What a save. They're going to split him. He's still trying to hang on Murray wide. Oh, man.
I think everybody thought it was Talladega there for a second.
That was last week, boys, not this week.
Drew Carroll issuing a little warning to the driver of the number 81, saying if you pull that again, you're going for a ride.
For the lead.
Back for the lead. Eckridge without shock, moving up to the lead position, trying to get that away from Murray. But Murray's fighting back on the outside. Danger Dan up there, making that second groove work. Is he going to be able to get a good run off of the corner? I think it's going to wash out just a little bit. And that advantage is going to go right back to the bottom with Eckridge. On the bottom going into turn 3. Eckridge, Murray side by side. Parker in the popcorn position. Murray driving it way into the wall there. I don't think he touched it, but he dusted that wall off. Ward and Parker touching off of the corner.
Yeah, I think Murray touched it coming off the corner, but man, I don't know. I think 4 tires is the way to go from here on out because it looks like the tires are just going to go away if we have a long green flag run.
Contact!
Big wreck!
Ward,
Big wreck!
big jump into the corner. Ryan gets a part of it. Ryan, blown engine. Big wreck out behind them. Put it out. Turn 2 strikes again.
I'd like to see the onboard camera up here. I got to watch this again here. Who was that?
Some contact.
I love to see the onboard camera of Dan Murray.
Murray got a little bit of the front end of that car beaten up. Let's see, 81, 76. Don Russell sliding through there.
Oh no, Jake Wright involved with that. Jeff Ryan spinning into it.
Man, Dan Murray's going to have a very good view of this one as Ward and Parker collide, make contact there. Right in turn 2, I think. Man, I don't.
Oh! Wow! He went right underneath. Wow!
Somebody call Kenny Loggins because Dan just entered the danger zone right there.
Oh wow! That's when that wreck happened. I was watching those guys there, and Dan Murray just went right underneath. I'm like, oh, I gotta see an onboard of that.
He's got a little bit of front end damage, but hey, I mean, that's not bad, all things considered there. Leaders, everybody hitting pit road this time. I think everybody's learned their lesson by now. Anytime you've got a chance to bolt 4 fresh tires on this thing, you're going to do it.
I can't see anybody staying out or taking 2 tires anymore. 4 tires in these track conditions just mean way too much here right now. But, yeah, 50 miles an hour is the pit road speed. I wonder if Scott Eckridge may have gotten a speeding penalty. I'm not sure. He was 51 miles an hour, and iRacing does bust you for that. So we'll just have to see.
Sometimes it's a little lenient. Sometimes it's really strict. So we'll have to see. Ricky Harden, right side tires there, and I think he's going to be the only gambler.
It might not be a bad call at this point because that was only, like a 3-lap run there, Brian? So
I think they got about 1 1/4 laps on those tires.
Okay, 1 1/4 laps on them tires. So it might not be a really bad call. It's not. I mean, on 1 lap tires, maybe that's not a bad call. But hey, I mean, it's definitely worth a try right now.
And speaking of not a bad call, the 00. Don Runkle Jr. going to get his lap back because of Brutus the Lucky Dog of Coastal Safety Auditors. Your one-stop shop for fire and life safety equipment and services. Move that 00 up to the lead lap. So, wow. Okay. Tommy Ryan still sitting on pit road. Other drivers that were affected there, Rick Thompson, Chad Stallman, Jeff Ryan, I believe, got a part of that. Jake Wright got a part of that. Multiple car incident off of turn 2, so that's definitely calamity corner. Dan Murray also hitting pit road again. Like I said, the front end of that Camry is punched in just a little bit, like it got into a fight with Mike Tyson back in his heyday.
Yeah, definitely. And just a quick update here. Jeff Ryan, Josh Parker, and Jake Wright have now manually disconnected from the racing server. So their nights are unfortunately done, involving into that accident off turn number 2. That's pretty much calamity corner right there. But very unfortunate for those guys. We'll have to see them have some better luck next week.
I will say this, if I was sitting in Dan Murray's seat with that front end punched in, with as warm as it is out there on track, I would be very, very concerned about engine temps as the race goes on. I mean, the iRacing crew is going to fix a good chunk of that, but it's still not going to be as good as it was when it was brand new. So I would be concerned about track engine temps on that number 5 machine. We'll have to keep an eye on that as the race unfolds through its... Boy, we're not even halfway.
We are not halfway.
Half, but we're not even halfway.
And a little tempers are starting to flare. I'm not going to repeat what they say here, but we do have a couple drivers getting on the radio about that incident. People calling each other crazy, like driving like a crazy person. So, but yeah, the tempers are already flaring, and we're not even at a short track, so or a super speedway. So, anyways, Ricky Harden takes 2 tires. Scott Eckrich on back with 4 tires. This is an interesting call. I'm wondering how those 2 tires are going to hold up. This was a shorter run, the shortest run of the night, I shall say.
I mean, I have a feeling that, a lap and a quarter probably is not going to be a huge difference. I mean, I might be surprised, but typically with that little of a runs, tire wear doesn't seem to matter a whole heck of a lot. You start getting about 5-10 laps, that's when you start seeing that tire wear really start to play a factor. But that being said, yeah, Harden up to the lead. Eckrich to his outside in second. Drew Carroll third. Rhett McBride fourth. Nick Cohan, there he is, back up into the top 5. Paul, don't confuse me with Salt Pepper in 6th. Brian Mellendorf in 7th. 8th to Jonathan Cadell, also working his way up there. Matt Lacrosse and DJ Beverly rounding out the top 10. But with that being said, we're going to have to see how these 2 tires are going to work out for the driver of that number 15, Ricky Harden.
Yeah, I don't know. iRacing has increased the tire wear a couple of times, and the last time I believe they increased tire wear was last year in the summertime. So we'll just have to see how this is going to hold up. Pace car's in.
There we go. Field under control of Ricky Harden. Bring him down to 60 miles an hour. Onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. Back underway in the Savage Spinners 200 on lap number 59. As you see Harden sneak away a little bit. Eckrich, Carroll battling for second. Who's going to prevail off of there? Eckrich is going to have the high side, but they're going to come really close. Oh, my goodness. Carroll gets loose underneath him, but he keeps it all together.
Whoa. Oh, my.
That was just pure driving that thing off of the corner. That's exactly what Carroll was trying to do, trying to keep Eckrich behind him.
Oh, man, Nick Cohan had to back up a little bit. Battle for the lead.
Eckrich is zooming in on the rear bumper of Harden. I don't think it's going to be very long. There you see Eckrich diving down low. Harden kind of giving up the bottom through the tri-oval. Now Harden is going to have the top side in 1 and 2. I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot. Move Eckrich back up to position number 1. Harden is going to have a fight there with Carroll for second. Harden shuts the door coming off the corner, but it's not enough. Here comes Carroll down to the bottom into turns 3. Harden up top, Carroll down low. Rhett McBride was stacking up down there too, trying to make it 3 wide through the corner. But with that being said, you know what? Harden's not letting him get away.
He's not letting him get away. It looks like those 2-tire change is not making a whole lot of difference. Maybe a little bit here and there. It looks like it's a little bit difference in turns 1 and 2, but pretty much even in 3 and 4. But the car that's dropping back recently here is Brian Mellendorf. Was running in the top 3, and all of a sudden now he's slipped back.
You see on board looking out the side of Harden, looking at Drew Carroll. Harden up top, Carroll at the bottom, trying to make it work. Carroll took that direct route off of the corner. He's going to put Harden up top, coming through the tri-oval. Harden's not going to have to deal with all the bumps up there. Going off into turn 1, though, Carroll's going to drive it in there and try to get the advantage away from Harden. Carroll up to second tentatively. Yeah, he's going to have him cleared off of the corner. Now you've got a battle for third between Harden and McBride with Cohen in the popcorn position looking back.
Yeah, Nick Cohen having a solid race today here at the Kentucky Speedway. Dan Murray, a little update on him. He's back in the 21st position right now. So he must have taken 4 tires.
Yeah, everybody but Harden took 4 tires.
yeah.
Harden, Harden, he's not afraid to go off onto his own island.
He's not, and usually when I think of Ricky Harden, I think of him more of a short track kind of dude. But he's good everywhere you go. I mean, he's like a Jimmy Johnson. I mean, he's good wherever he goes. He's competitive every week. But meanwhile, out front, Scott Eckrich, Drew Carroll. That's about a 3/10 difference right there. Oh, so I'm seeing quite a few guys, especially Ricky Harden, getting a little loose coming off turn number 4.
And when Ricky Harden watches the broadcast and hear you compare him to Jimmy Johnson, his ego is going to be...
Jonathan Cadell drifted up the racetrack, almost lost it. What a save by Jonathan Cadell. I believe he was trying to get around Paul Pepper.
He was. Wow, that car drifted sideways big time through the corner. And good driving from Cadell to hold that one together. Guarantee you, though, that the right rear tire is pretty angry at him.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, these are not bad tires. We just do bad things to them.
Exactly.
So I mean, and especially on a rough racing surface like Kentucky, man, it's those tires. They're just screaming and yelling at you.
The entire race, they'll scream and yell at you, and they're only happy when you replace them. So there's a comment somewhere in there. I'm just going to leave that one alone.
I'm just glad it's not my crew chief or my spotter.
Absolutely. So there you see Cadell on screen, falling back to 9th, trying to sit back and compose himself a little bit after that big drift through 1 and 2.
But a little shout out to Matt Lacrosse. He started 23rd tonight. He was in the mid pack until he decided to stay out or get 2 tires on pit road. Then he became the race leader, and then he took 4 tires, and now he's driving in the top 10 and being competitive.
And he is. I'm just kind of looking here. We are completing lap 67 right now. That's going to put us 68 to go. I'm kind of getting my pencil and my calculator warmed up, and if we're going to try to split this up, I have a feeling no matter which way we slice it, it's going to be a 2-stop race. But the question is going to be, when do you make those stops? If you can run this middle stint long, let's see, that'd put another 26 laps on that, and that would put you to 50. Yeah, it's a 2-stop race no matter which way you slice it. But if you run that middle stint as long as you can, try to minimize it towards the end, and then maybe try to take 2 tires if this runs green. That's a big if. As we've gone halfway this time, the hallelujah lap.
Well, honestly, Brian, I'm kind of thinking it's more like a 2.5 stop race. I know it's either going to go to pit road or not, but I think you're right in the ballpark. That's for sure. But it's approximately 38 laps on fuel-wise, but I just wonder how many of these guys are just going to say, forget the fuel, I need tires.
Well, if you 3-stint it to the end, then you can pit, you can run 20-20-20. But I don't know. I prefer to be on the strategy that keeps me on pit road the least. And if you can cut a whole pit stop off with a pit road delta time of roughly around in the ballpark of a minute, when you really take into account a full pit stop. Now, if you do gas only, 2 tires, that delta becomes probably in the ballpark of 40 to 45 seconds. That's still, these guys screaming around, that's a full lap that you're stuck. And with the way the tire falls off, once you kind of hit a cliff after about 20 laps. So I wouldn't see the advantage of 3-stopping it. I'm sure someone might try.
I'm sure someone might try too, but the frustrations on being a driver and crew chief at the same time, I'm telling you, it's just, it's definitely a thought process to think through here, but I don't know, it's a very tough call.
That it is. Now that the field is settled off about 15 laps into this run, we're going to go with an AdvoCare through the field. If you're looking to add some spark to your life, AdvoCare gives you a full line of options for wellness and weight loss. And to those looking for a little bit more performance of their active lifestyle, please contact independent distributor James Krahula at james.krahula@gmail.com or at the link in the description below. With that being said, Scott Eckrich, your leader, leading a whole lot of laps tonight. Drew Carroll sitting there in second, trying to chase him down, not letting him get too far away. Rhett McBride to third, sitting there. Ricky Hart, that 2 tires are working out for him really nice right now, sitting there in the 4th position. 5th, Nick Cohan in that John Deere green machine, with Paul Pepper sitting out there in 6th. Matt Lacrosse 7th, Brian Mellendorf in 8th. Jonathan Cadell, I believe he's finally gained his breath back after that big drift through 1 and 2. He is sitting there running in the 9th position, and rounding out your top 10 is Ryan Howard.
And just to quickly go through outside the top 10, you in 11th place, you have DJ Beverly. 12th place, James Krahula. 13th place is Woodrow Mahan. 14th is Alec Marshall. 15th is Brad Collins. 16th is Danny Sanchez. 17th is Brandon Minnick. 18th, Benny Ellison. 19th, Dan Murray. And rounding out the top 20 is Josh King.
Everybody else on back, just kind of holding on to it. There's Don Runkle in 21st, but after getting those Coastal Safety Auditors lucky dogs, he's sitting down there the very tail end of the lead lap. Everybody else behind him has had a pretty rough night. Rick Thompson, 10 laps down. What?
Oh boy here, Brian. I don't want to do the commentator's curse, but look up front.
Don't say it.
I'm not. That's as far as I'm going to go.
All right, we're going to take a look at this. Drew Carroll, maybe he's figured out a way to keep Eckrich close enough to maybe apply a little bit of pressure. Maybe push Eckrich into a mistake.
Yeah, Eckrich got a little loose in the middle of the corner there, but man, this is the best I've seen Drew Carroll all race long, so I think he may have found something for Scott Eckrich.
He might. Let's see. We've been talking to Drew Carroll a number of times post-race. He keeps saying a win is close, and he has been really strong. Probably, I would say, the second best driver on these mile-and-a-half tracks. Behind, of course, the guy he's trying to chase down, Scott Eckrich.
Making some excitement right now, making some noise. I like it. Hopefully, if he can get by Scott Eckrich there, he'll be making some excitement down victory lane.
See, there you see Eckrich. He's not getting too far away, and even over the entire course of the run, he hasn't been able to get too far away. Looking out the rear bumper of Eckrich, you see on screen that gap shrinking. And also, if you want to see some live timing and scoring from the event, Drew Carroll hanging the right rear out of that one. If you want to see some live timing and scoring from this event, head over to the Global Sim Racing channel website at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, and you can tune in and see what we're seeing from a live timing and scoring standpoint. So that's a new thing that we're getting on here on the Global Sim Racing channel, and I'll tell you what, it's a whole lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it is definitely a whole lot of fun. It's like watching NASCAR race view on your mobile apps or something like that. You know, that's just it's like watching like that. So I think it's a really nifty tool for sim racing.
It is. I've got, in fact, if you could see my screen, I've got 3 sources of timing and scoring right in front of me because I'm weird and I like to see everything from every angle.
If you're a race fan, if you're a huge race fan, a huge race fan, every Sunday on a NASCAR race, I have race view up. I have all the timing, live scoring up as best I can to keep track of the race and listen to driver audio, all that kind of stuff. And sim racing, it's pretty close to that. I'm telling you, with the amount of apps and technology sim racing has gone recently. Oh, Rhett McBride, I think, hit the wall.
They have back there. Let's see. Right side of that car looks it's a little scraped up.
Yeah, it's coming off turn number 2 right there. I just seen it right at the corner of my eye. But back on the live timing and scoring stuff, man, it's amazing how sim racing has developed throughout the years. It just is, and it just makes the experience a whole lot better as a race fan, as a commentator, even as a racing driver too, out on the racetrack. It just makes everything so much fun.
And funny enough that you mentioned that, I was actually talking to my parents about this last week. You know, like me personally, I started with NASCAR Racing 3 and a keypad on a Gateway Astro computer. It was an all-in-one. It was kind of like a Windows version of the all-in-one Mac. And I was using a keyboard to try to race. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that, number one, these races would be broadcasted, and just the sheer amount of equipment. Now I'm staring at 3 screens. I've got a very high-tech computer to my right. I've got all sorts of equipment. I've got all sorts of stats. You're right. It's amazing where this has come from, which excites me to think where it's going.
Oh yeah, definitely, and man, it's only going to get better, Brian. I'm telling you, and watching a league race like this, these guys performing on the racetrack, it has just created even more exciting. Meanwhile,
That it has.
Meanwhile, here at Kentucky, as we are getting a little sidetracked, we apologize about that, but it just comes to show, But meanwhile, Scott Eckert still has the race lead over Drew Carroll, and no pressure from behind, but no pressure from 4th place is Rhett McBride, who's sitting comfortably in the 3rd spot. Like I said, in 4th place, Nick Cohen, whose 2-tire gamble has paid off, and in 5th place is Brian Mellendorf, and pit stops have begun.
Yes, Ricky Harden, Paul Pepper, DJ Beverly, James Krahula, all on pit road this time. I have a feeling that's going to start the feeding frenzy, because you can't afford to give up a second and a half a lap to these guys.
You just can't, man, and you just can't. And right now, I believe you are right on the button there, Brian. I think it is a 2 pit stop race. So after these guys are done pitting on pit road, they will have one more pit stop to make, as we do have about approximately 52 laps to go on a 38-lap fuel window approximately. So you're definitely going to need one more pit stop.
And there you see on screen Woodrow Mahan hitting pit road this time by. So far, none of the other front runners have made the dive to pit road. They should be. From a fuel standpoint, they can go about 10 more laps. But, here we go. Scott Eckert, his best time is a 32:23, and last time he ran a 33:63. So it's not going to surprise me to see these guys that just hit pit road rip off some incredible lap times.
Yeah, definitely. And, oh, man, the lap times are just going to mean so much when you get back on the racetrack. And the longer these guys, guys who just pitted here, what was that, Ricky Harden, for example, he's good at the lead lap cars continue to stay out wherever he was running on the racetrack. He will gain time the more these guys turn laps.
That is the case. And then here's the other part of it, though, because, the short pitting strategy, it's got a number of different aspects to it. So he's going to be making up a second and a half a lap. But now, he's got 3 laps now on his tires, whereas these guys are going to have fresher tires throughout the later part in the run. So the idea is to kind of hit a nice sweet spot that you pulled a big enough advantage that the guys behind you won't be, or by the time that their tires even out, they maybe only got to your rear bumper or maybe about half a tenth back. But I'd be curious to see who flinches first in this battle here between Carroll and Scott Eckert.
Well, quite frankly, here, Ricky Harden was one of the first cars on pit road, and that was approximately 28 laps since their last pit stop. So, man, the fuel window is about 38 laps approximately with a 60% fuel load. So, man, I don't know. Pitting early, there's some good to it, but there's also some bad to it.
It is. For sake of comparison, Ricky Harden just put up a 32:46 his last time by, whereas our leader ran a 33:92. So, that's huge around a mile and a half oval. I'll be curious to see. It's not going to be a matter of if Harden is going to have the lead once Carroll and Eckert hit pit road. It's going to be a question of how big is that lead going to be.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just wondering where Ricky, if we do not have a caution, that's if we do not have a caution.
There's the other part. Yeah, you just mentioned that. A caution comes out now for these guys.
That's bad for the guys that pitted. Yep, that's bad for the guys that pitted. But if we don't get a caution...
you jinxed it.
I'm sorry, Ricky Harden, and guys that pitted. I apologize. Commentator's curse.
Was it turn 2 again? I don't see anybody stopped. Ricky Harden is, if that was a bad spot for that to happen, could have been worse because he's actually going to be in position for the free pass. So could have worked out worse for him. But I don't quite know where the caution happened. Anybody finding me anything?
Man, I don't know. I'm trying to find who's spinning, but it could be off turn number 2. I mean, the only way a caution would really come out is if someone's spinning onto the racetrack. Mark Norbert, maybe?
I'm looking here. Yep, Mark Norbert. Yeah, he turn 2 once again bites another victim.
Yeah, he just got loose coming off turn number 2, hits the inside wall, and he hit it just hard enough to where he ricocheted onto the racetrack, and that's a very narrow apron down there, so very unfortunate for the guys that just pitted. Ricky Harden, I believe, is going to get the lucky dog, and everybody else may remain one lap down unless they take the wave around.
It is. No matter which way you slice it, you're going to have to stop another time, so there's really no advantage to not pitting or playing games here. Just come on down pit road, fill the tank up full of fuel, and put 4 fresh feel goods on it, and drive her off. But as we did talk about, Ricky Harden is going to be your Coastal Safety Auditor's Lucky Dog Award winner. Brutus the Lucky Dog. Ricky's own Brutus, giving him the lap back. I believe that's Ricky's dog. Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire and life safety equipment and services. That's going to let Harden come back around, put 4 fresh tires on it, and get even up. Worst case scenario, he has to fall behind and start tail end of the field. But with no lap traffic, I think he'll be all right. So there you see the race off of pit road. Eckridge, Carroll, McBride, Cadell.
Oh, man, that green cone's like not again.
Oh, well, remember how we said put 4 tires on it? The driver of that number 2, I think he only heard half of what I said, because that may be a 2-tire stop on Rhett McBride.
I'll have to double check on that here, Brian. I think he may have taken 4, because he was running 3rd at the time of caution when the caution came out.
All right. Yeah, no, okay. I'm seeing it now. Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody has taken 4 tires from the race leader all the way down to the 14th place position. That's how many cars were on the lead lap at the time of caution. And now that's going to put Ricky Harden, who's in 15th, back on the lead lap after taking the lucky dog. But we do have some wave around cars, and it's going to be James Scribula, DJ Beverly, Paul Pepper, Woodrow Mahan, Danny Sanchez, Brandon Minnick.
And this is pretty much their only hope to salvage something out of the end of this one. So you take the wave around right now, hope for another quick caution, and try to salvage something out of your night. So that's the downside of the short pitting. But these drivers are working their way around. I believe that we're probably going to be coming down to 2 to go here on the restart.
Yeah, definitely, and I do not see anybody making it from here. It's 44 laps to go in a 38-lap pit window, but we have seen guys pit about 10 laps earlier than that, so the guys like Ricky Harden, they're going to have to stop at least one more time. I don't see anybody making it from here.
No, everybody's stopping one more time. I mean, I think 38, 39 if you really conserve the fuel. And we're at 44 to go. Yeah, you might be able to stretch a lap. I don't see you stretching 5 laps.
Definitely not. So maybe, and I mean maybe, if you pit early, and providing if we don't get a caution, if we go green rest of the way and you pit early, you might have that advantage on gaining a few spots.
Field waving around the pace car here. You see everybody coming by. Woodrow, there's Danny Sanchez, Rick Thompson, Brandon Minnick.
I think there's some iRacing glitch. iRacing glitch might be going on because the wave around cars, I believe, have received a black flag. What I'm hearing on the radio.
Oh boy. I think they left a little early to get around the pace car, and iRacing penalized them for passing the pace car. So, and with James telling the drivers to do that, I will have to say, way to go, James. I gotta give him a little bit of grief. It's always fun. So, here we go. I'd be curious to see if I'm waiting to see if they might wave extend it out, and then wave the black flags.
I tell you what, you're right. They start going around the pace car before the start-finish line, but that looks like all those guys are going to get their black flags cleared. James Krahula did apologize on the radio. They say that was his fault.
Yeah. With that being said, field in control of Eckrich. 60 miles an hour, bringing him down 62. He's starting to get up onto a little bit of restart games there. Eckrich back onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. McBride with a little bit of tire spin off of the restart there. Cadell is going to be side by side for position number 3, going off into turns 1 and 2. Cadell to the high side.
Mellendorf in trouble, was a little slower on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Was sideways. Lacrosse saved it. Somebody else back there. I think Beverly saved it off of the corner too.
The cow getting dicey here at the end of the race for sure.
Paint window's it's starting to, the gates are starting to creak just a little bit and let these drivers know that it's about to open up.
4-car battle right here. This is for the pretty much the 3rd position. You have Rhett McBride, Jonathan Cadell, Nick Cohen, and Brian Mellendorf right here in this little group pack. Not too far behind is Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard sitting back there in the 7th position. You're kind of watching everybody up in front of him, trying to figure out which way is going to work. I'll tell you what, something that is surprising to me. Look back there in the 9th, make that 8th position. Dan Murray has rebounded quite nicely after after basically driving underneath another car. He's rebounded himself back up to the 8th position. And there you see Ricky Harden, who was the beneficiary the last time by. Now trying to go underneath Matt Lacrosse as a battle for 10th. And a shout out also to Alec Marshall back there in that number 14 machine. He started this race in the 22nd position, last car taking time. And now he's working his way up and fighting for the top 10. So good run for Alec as well.
Great run for Alec tonight here at Kentucky, and what a paint scheme he's driving tonight. It's a little different color paint scheme on the car tonight. But yeah, back on the Dan Murray topic there. And man, he's been through everything, I think, here today. He stayed out on 2 tires, I believe, and he's been going underneath cars, the Dodge Rex, and everything's just happened to Dan Murray. And his front end nose is all beat up, but he's still in the fight. James Krahula here. Oh my! He's back in 21st. Yeah, 2 laps down now.
On the restart, he hit pit road, and now he went back to pit road. And he's going back to pit road.
He's back in. Something's going on with James Krahula.
Yeah, something's up with the driver of that number 24 machine. Maybe he's got a black flag that won't clear. I don't know. He's the admin. He can fix that, but I don't know.
I'm not entirely.
We'll talk to him after, maybe we go off air and see what's exactly going on. But that's bizarre. But hey, he's got himself a win back at Rockingham. He's in the chase. That's all he cares about. So there you see back on screen the driver of that number 5, Dan Murray, locked in a dogfight there with Matt Lacrosse, Ricky Harden. Harden going up top, making the run off the high side. Move Harden up to the 9th position now.
A good run for him tonight, but man, this is Dan Murray. Dan Murray's hitting pit road, it looks like. Yes, he is. He's hitting pit road. Really, pit strategy might be going on.
Well, the fuel window is open from here.
Telling you, Brian, this is providing if we don't get a caution. This is providing if we go green the rest of the way, though.
That is if we go green. That's a big if. And with those drivers trying to make it work off of turn 2, I have a feeling it's not going to be long before Calamity Corner strikes and reaches out and gets another victim. But everybody staying out up front. Dan Murray on pit road. Now he's on his way off of pit road.
And it's about approximately 9 laps since the last caution flag.
But you know what? It might not be a bad play. I mean, tire fall off about half a second right now. He's going to maintain that gap. I mean, where he was running, he probably wasn't going to... I mean, I'm not trying to sound bad here, but he wasn't going to win anyway, running back there at the back half of the top 10. So why not? I mean, as soon as the fuel window opens, hit pit road, put 4 tires on it, see what it does.
It's true. I mean, it's a gamble. I mean, go for it. I mean, I completely agree with you. But like I said, that's providing if we go green the rest of the way, though. If we do get a caution, then that strategy's not really going to work all that anymore. But yet again, it is a good strategy. I'm not going to lie about that.
It is. Nobody else playing up front. Eckrich coming by on the high side off of turn 4. So is Carroll. I don't see anybody else hitting pit road this time by either. So I have a feeling these drivers might be stretching the run here. So what you can do is, if you know that you hit a tire wall at about 20 laps to go, drive this stint until about 20 laps to go, which is 13 away, which is plenty inside your fuel window, and then pit at 20 to go. Because then you know what kind of tires you have for the end of the race.
Well, get this. This last time by, Scott Eckrich ran a 32.789, and Dan Murray, who was the fastest car on the racetrack, with a 32.361. So that's a good difference there.
Update on the Krahula situation. He waved everybody else's black flags off, and then he decided to serve his own because he did say that he did admit fault on that one. And then what ended up happening is his black flag would not clear. Maybe a glitch in the software or something. So now he's actually about to get DQ'd out of the race. I mean, they're not at an incident limit, but just because he can't technically serve a black flag, so I think he might be getting it fixed now. He's back up running. I think he's run a couple laps here. Yeah, he's run about 5. So
if a caution does come out, Dan Murray will get the lucky dog, obviously. But the Paul Pepper on the bottom there.
Yeah, it was Paul Pepper down, or no, I think it was Minnick down there on the bottom. They both were driving a very similar paint scheme. One with a delicious sandwich shop on it, and the other one with a political figure. I'll leave it at that.
We'll just leave it at that. But I can go for some Jimmy John's from time to time. It's one of my favorite sub places.
Yeah, freaky fast.
Yeah, he was freaky fast. Paul Pepper, believe it, he was up in the top 10 earlier in this race running. So he does have a fast car and a competitive car.
Making it work. I mean, sometimes it's just with racing, you just got to be in the right spot, the right time, and kind of take the cards as they lay out to you. Now drivers crossed with 106 laps completed, which puts us to 29 to go. I will be curious to see who blinks first out front. Are these guys going to run it long? Are they going to try to short pit? I mean, if you're Carroll, all right, Tanner, if you're in Drew Carroll's car, you're driving it, Eckrich has a little bit on you on the long run. When do you try to maybe undercut him and go with the short pit strategy?
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be a tough call right there, but I'd say go in down pit road with approximately less than 20 laps to go, because the tires do wear here. He's not that far behind. He's about 4 or 5 tenths off from Scott Eckrich. So they can stretch it out to about a little less, about maybe 18 laps to go, 17 laps to go. Get down pit road before Scott Eckrich does, but you have to understand Scott Eckrich is probably going to be paying attention to you, what you're going to be doing, so you don't gain the advantage on him. But if you can get down a lap sooner, you can gain a little time.
That you can. And you're right. As soon as one dives off, the other's going to follow a lap later. So, with that being said, I'm kind of looking around, timing and scoring wise. Everybody's right about in the same, right about the same lap time. And wow, look at that battle on screen. Josh King, Mahan, Pepper, Krahula's up there. Krahula's about 4 laps down now. So he's not racing for position. That's a great battle coming through. 3 and 4 there.
Oh yeah, these guys are getting a little dicey, but they're hanging on to their own right there. That's Josh King, Woodrow Mahan, Paul Pepper, James Krahula.
That it is. That's basically from what I can tell.
Coming. Dan Murray just behind these guys. He's coming. He's about to pass the number 76. They're 3 wide. Paul Pepper all out of shape. That was a close call by here. Look at the tire difference. Dan Murray, Josh King here. The tire difference is significantly huge.
It is, and what I'm curious of, I've been keeping an eye on Dan Murray's lap times. He's been running consistently. Obviously consistently faster than the leaders. And now Ryan Howard, Matt Lacrosse also hitting pit road.
Early pit strategy has now begun here at Kentucky, but Dan Murray, what did he run last time by? He ran a 33.23.5, and am I reading that right?
Yeah, no, you're reading that. Well,
he's in the same ballpark as Scott Eckridge then.
Well, you know, it's going to be interesting. We'll put it that way. I mean, he might be able to, you know, with pitting early like that, you know, he's got the good out of the tires, but, you know, it all depends on when Eckridge and Carroll and McBride, Cohan, Mellendorf, when they all hit pit road, because that's going to kind of play the ultimate spoiler to that little strategy.
Well, officially, Dan Murray and Scott Eckridge have pretty much ran Ricky Harden down pit road now, but Scott Eckridge and Dan Murray have ran pretty much the same lap time.
That's for sure. Ricky Harden hitting pit road, making his stop. Sanchez also on pit road. Still
23 to go.
Still nobody budging up front. Mellendorf has indicated he's going to hit pit road from the 5th position. That might start getting these guys up front to think they can still run another 15 laps, roughly 14 laps on fuel. So with 22 to go, the math doesn't work out, but maybe they're thinking a bonsai run to the end. There's Goodell on pit road, following Mellendorf.
Man, Brian here, when was the last time we were under caution? About 22 laps ago?
25 laps ago.
25 laps to go, and we're coming down with 22 to go. Oh boy, that early pit strategy right there, was that working?
Whoa! Eckridge had a big moment coming off of turn 4. Get that on replay. Sorry to cut you off, Tanner, but I could read the side of that machine. There you see right here, coming through turn 4. Oh, goodness. That was about as locked far to the right as you can be. And Eckridge, without surprise, has admitted he's hitting pit road.
And that's causing everybody else to go down pit road right
now.
Here's
Carroll, here's McBride saying it. Cohan, or Marshall's hitting pit road also. Let's see, 50 miles an hour. That's the pit road speed. Daigel's saying he's going to hit pit road. Cohan is staying out.
Cohan staying out, gamble for Cohan, but I'm telling you, those guys that pitted earlier, who was that? I'm trying to figure out who that was that were in the top 10 that pitted. Somebody that was running 5th. That might play in their favor because they went in a few laps before the race leaders.
And Cohan saying he's going to hit pit road, so that's going to turn the lead over to Brad Collins. You know what? If you're these guys, I'd stay out. Hope for a quick caution, and you're going to pin a good chunk of the fast drivers a lap down. You know, as you're starting to work within 20 to go, that's not a bad strategy call either. So there's a whole lot of stuff.
Nick Cohan is now down pit road right now. That's going to hand over the lead over to Brad Collins. But the driver, I'm wondering who might gain the advantage. Is Matt Lacrosse. He was one of those guys that pitted about 4 or 5 laps sooner than the race leaders. So I wonder how much of an advantage that's going to be.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. That early pit window caution is out.
Uh-oh.
Put it out.
Not what we wanted.
Oh, my goodness. Well, someone, let's see here. Get a look here. Oh, Don Runkle Jr. in the 00. Turn 2 strikes again.
It does. That turn 2's
no,
just been...
not turn 2 strikes again. Pit exit strikes.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, he hit those patches right there. Ooh, everybody was lucky to not get around or to not get involved in that. So that's going to put Brett McBride onto the lead lap. He's going to be our Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog. Cohan, Cadell, Carroll, Eckrich are all going to be on the lead lap. They somehow managed to stay on to that. And now your top 7 have hit pit road. So this is still going to shake out for some of these guys. And I'll be curious to see with Cohan, who I think he was on pit road when the caution came out. He's got the freshest tires of those guys by a couple laps. But we've seen tonight already, a couple laps makes a big difference.
It does, and we've already seen it. It's probably not going to hold you into the lead, but it may hold you into the top 10. But either way, it does make a difference here, folks. But right now, the wave-around cars, as Rhett McBride will get the lucky dog, the wave-around cars will be Matt Lacrosse, Dan Murray, Ricky Hart, Woodrow Mahan, Alec Marshall, and Danny Sanchez.
You see Rhett McBride getting your Coastal Safety Auditor's Lucky Dog Award. Brutus the Lucky Dog steering that car around, giving the local Lucky Dog out. Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire and life safety equipment and services. So, with Rhett McBride waving around now, or getting the Lucky Dog back, that's going to put him into the 11th position, I believe. So, your top 10. For this upcoming restart. Scott Eckrich, your leader. Drew Carroll, second. Nick Cohan, third. Brad Collins, fourth. Benny Ellison in fifth. Benny and the Jets, if you will. Brian Mellendorf, last night's winner, in sixth. Seventh to Paul Pepper. Eighth to DJ Beverly. Ninth to Josh King. And 10th to Ryan Howard.
I don't think we're going to be pitting anymore unless we're going to get a caution with about 7 laps to go, quite honestly. But
well, and if you were watching our broadcast last night of the Coastal Safety Auditors Grand National Series, a caution did come out with 7 laps to go, that's eventually what gave Mellendorf the victory. So anything is possible, and I have a feeling that, if they do stay out, it's going to be a heck of a restart.
Yeah, definitely. And I just wonder if we do get a caution with 7 to go, who's going to pit? I mean, and will that be an advantage for those guys if they do pit? We'll just have to wait and find out.
That is the case. So, with that being said, let's see. Going to be a whole bunch of wave-around cars. I believe they're coming to 2 to go this time. With the 16 to go, I almost have to feel like this one's going to be Eckrich's race to lose. He's really good on the short runs. I think Drew Carroll is going to have to show him. He's going to have to show him something here quick. And if you're Nick Cohan, you're riding there in third. You're in the popcorn position. If these guys dust up, you're going to be in a great position to sneak away a victory.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And like I said, if we do stay green here, I think it's Scott Eckrich may have this, unless Drew Carroll himself, Mr. Excitement, can try to get that win away from him.
Well, there's a reason that Drew Carroll has earned the nickname Mr. Excitement. I have a feeling we're about to find out.
So, catching our breaths here under caution. I'm sure you race fans at home watching this race, or wherever you are around the world watching this race, is catching your breath as Brad Collins just getting on the radio saying this should be an interesting finish towards the race, and I believe he is correct. So Scott Eckrich, Drew Carroll, Nick Cohan, Brad Collins, and Benny Ellison rounding out the top 5. And give a shout out to Benny Ellison, who started in the 30th position tonight. And Brad Collins started 24th. Shout out to him, too. Those guys start outside the top 20. They are finally in the top 5.
They have earned it up and earned their rightful spot up there, making the best of a good city, making the best of the race that they can. Pulling some very good moves, some strategy calls. That's what's got the 67 up there. That's what's got the 01. Now it's up to them to hold that position. As you see, the Mustang pace car itching to get the heck out of the way. There you see Carroll crouching down just a little bit. He's going to try to hold Eckrich honest here on this restart. Let's see what happens. Eckrich onto the loud pedal. Drew Carroll gets a big amount of wheel spin. Everybody's spinning the tires back through the field. Eckrich gets a great start. Cohan gets a better start. Cohan, P2, going into turn 1.
Oh, man, this is a mess back here for the top 10 right now. And Paul Pepper just blinked on my screen a little bit. These guys were almost 3 wide, trying not to run each other over. But close call for these guys, especially with the heavy wheel spin. And that wheel spin's going to cost Drew Carroll.
It's going to cost him, but he's right on the rear bumper of Cohan in the 21 machine. through turns 3 and 4. Eckrich has got to love that. Carroll gets a little loose through the middle of the corner. There you see Mellendorf working his way back into the picture. He fell all the way back out of the top 10 at one point in the run. Look at him back up to the 4th position on that restart.
Yeah, Brian Mellendorf, yeah, our winner last night. And he knows the ways to victory lane here. And right now he's back in the top 5. Kentucky's being good to him this week. But right now, meanwhile, it's Scott Eckrich, Nick Cohen, and Drew Carroll, the top 3.
I have a feeling Carroll's just kind of riding at the moment, but no, he's not afraid to put that car. He's driving the wheels off of it, though. Oh, Cohen into the fence! Cohen has damaged the right side of that car. That's going to give Carroll the run on the bottom. But hey, we saw it happen to Eckrich. Beats up the right side of the car, and it actually went past him. So, who knows? There you see, tried the crossover, going back. And Cohen to the inside, trying to make it stick underneath that Carroll.
Affecting me here, boys. It's not affecting me. I'm still in this ball game. So, and right now we are coming down to it here, and we might get a caution, we might not. We'll just have to wait and see. And I'm wondering if we do get a caution, who's gonna pit for tires?
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of takers to pit road, but who knows? Everything and anything can happen at the end of this race. As all of that shuffling has allowed Eckrich to squeak out about a 0.7 of a second lead over Drew Carroll. Cohen's really fighting with that machine. He's got Mellendorf to the inside of him now. Mellendorf trying to go up to position 3. Cohen fighting back on the outside. They almost touch coming off the corner. Maybe there they go.
Would you like some of my paint?
Oh, DJ Beverly mowing the grass in the front stretch. Keeps it together. No caution.
Back on the racetrack here. What a save. That's twice today in this race by DJ Beverly mowing the grass here at Kentucky. I believe it's short enough there, DJ.
I think he feels like it just wasn't quite short enough. He wanted to get that down to about putting green surface, especially off the corner there into off of 4 and down the front stretch.
Man, Paul Pepper having a nice run today. He just took he's about to go for 4th place here. He's in the top 5 today in that is that Jimmy John scheme? Yes, it is.
We talked about that earlier in the race, man. Come on.
I'm a little bit all over the place. My mind's spinning. Oh, he hit the wall. I cursed him
Murray
again.
Out back. Getting sideways. Held it together, though. No caution. Eckrich coming down to the start-finish line. This will leave us 8 laps to go. Remember, folks, iRacing does not have a green-white checkered system in place. So if a caution comes out with what I would say about 4 to go, that's going to be it. Caution comes out anywhere before that, you're going to see a last lap restart and more than likely a lot of chaos and a whole lot of wadded up cars in the corner.
You know, I wish iRacing would implement the green-white checkered system, but for kind of, in my opinion, for leagues only. I mean, give at least the leagues the option to do that. But obviously,
if you give the admin option to promote, like, or push one more lap out, I think that'd be kind of nice too.
That would be kind of nice. That would definitely create some interesting league racing, especially if it's being broadcasted. I mean, I know there's several broadcasters out there for sim racing, but especially here on GSRC. I mean, it's great. We got some great racing, and we're just having a blast watching these guys turn some laps.
Absolutely. Someone else is having a blast. Scott Eckrich out front. He's got a 1 second lead over Drew Carroll. He's high, wide, and handsome off of the corner, keeping that number 70 machine where it needs to be. 6 laps to go this time by for Scott Eckrich.
Yeah, since iRacing doesn't do green-white checkered systems, Scott Eckrich, man, he's almost a second ahead of DJ Beverly. Not quite, but almost. It's about 9/10. And man, oh man, right now I believe he may be hoping for a caution. Ryan Howard squeezing it in. Paul Pepper tried to close the door. Did not work. Ryan Howard to the 5th spot.
There it is. There you see the battle on screen. Paul Pepper, Ryan Howard battling for the top 5. Give the position to Howard this time by in that number 33 machine. Gets the nice run off of the top side of the track and sends it away in front of Paul Pepper.
Oh boy, I'm just wondering if we're going to get a yellow. But if we do, I think at this point, if we do, the race is over.
Yeah, we're on 5 to go right now, coming to 4 to go. So this would be the magical end point for these drivers. Eckrich still holding the pretty wheel out there. He has led a good chunk of the race tonight. Total laps led, I actually don't have that anywhere in front of me. What do you got? 97. So if he finishes this one out, he's going to lead 101 of 134 laps. I'll tell you what, that's nothing short of...
Paul Pepper contact! Brett McBride contact Paul Pepper. Man, that was... It looked like Paul Pepper tried getting down low to close the door on Brett McBride, and he already had a nose there and got Paul Pepper out of whack just for a little bit.
Oh, wow, yeah, that was some contact right there.
Yeah, that could have been big, dude. They're still racing side by side right now on the front stretch. I like to call it the bumpiest front stretch in NASCAR.
It kind of feels like you're driving over an old dirt road, that's for sure.
And Paul Pepper's just hanging on to that thing. He almost drifted up the track on Rhett McBride there, but they're still battling. Rhett McBride in the wall.
That's unfortunate for Rhett. He's having a great run to try to get back up there and make something of his day after getting caught early.
Boy, I tell you, he ain't giving up.
He's not giving up. He's like a junkyard dog to the back end of that number 29 machine. 2 to go for Eckrich this time by.
2 more laps to go, trying to get all that you can get. But with this battle between Paul Pepper and Rhett McBride that's going on, that's brought Brad Collins into the mix. So we'll just have to see how this unfolds. But I think this is maybe the closest battle on track, maybe?
It is. And from what I'm seeing right now, unless Carroll... Right now, Eckrich just has to keep all 4 tires in the right spot of the track, and he's going to come home your winner today. White flag into the air for Scott Eckrich. Last lap of the Savage Spinners 200 here at Kentucky. His resume on these 1.5-mile speedways is absolutely nothing to shake your head at. 3 wins already on the year, and providing he can get back around from turns 3 and 4 this time by, will be his 4th win of the year. Scott Eckrich showing everybody early on in the season that he is going to be a threat for the championship. You're going to have to win it through him. Scott Eckrich up a turn 4 one final time down the front stretch. And Scott Eckrich, his 4th win of the year at the Savage Spinners 200.
Paul Pepper just got ready to say that was intense, but good race. Congrats to Scott Eckrich. Drew Carroll's finishing 2nd, Brian Mellendorf 3rd, Nick Cohan 4th, and Ryan Howard rounding out the top 5.
We'll have a full field rundown after we come back from break. We're going to go and take a quick break. We're going to get some things sorted out here. We're going to show you Scott Eckrich probably coming around the front stretch to make the donuts and give these fans a nice little send-off. Scott Eckrich, your winner after leading 100 and actually 2 laps in the event today. There he is. Time to make the donuts. We'll be right back on GSRC. welcome back to Kentucky Speedway at the conclusion of the Savage Spinners 200, which saw Scott Eckridge bring home his 4th victory of the year, clearly establishing himself as a dominant force on the series and really showing that championship's going to have to come through him. So, with that being said, full field rundown in order. Scott Eckridge, your winner. Drew Carroll, second. Brian Mellendorf in third. Nick Cohan, a great finish up there in fourth. And I believe your most improved from start to finish, too. Ryan Howard rounding out the top 5. Jonathan Cadell in 6th, followed by Paul Pepper in 7th. 8th to Rhett McBride. Brad Collins 9th. DJ Beverly in 10th.
And outside the top 10 is Benny Ellison finishing in the 11th position tonight. Josh King, 12th. Ricky Harden, 13th. Woodrow Mahan, 14th. Alec Marshall, 15th. Matt Lacrosse, 16th. Danny Sanchez, 17th. 18th, Brandon Minnick. 19th, Dan Murray. And rounding off the top 20 is Don Runkle Jr.
21st to James Krahula, 3 laps back, and everybody else back here was involved in incidents and just had a bad go of it tonight. Rick Thompson, 22nd. Pierre Deigel, 23rd. 24th to Mark Norbert. 25th to Chad Stallman. 26th to Tommy Ryan. Early, strong favorite in the race and was just kind of in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Jeff Ward, 27th. Josh Parker, 28th. 29th to Jeff Ryan. And 30th to Jake Wright.
And outside the top 30, 31st position, Jody Green. In the 31st position, 32nd position, Calvin Filarski. And rounding out the top 33 out of the field is Rich Jetty.
Well, let's talk to some people here that made it a great race. I've caught up with Brian Mellendorf. Brian, you finished third tonight after winning last night. Just a couple steps short of doing the clean sweep. But how was the race from your driving seat?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Out of control the whole night. Just kept it off the fence, though. And 3 and 4, that bump, I just could not figure it out. I was watching Scott just drive away from me there at the start. Nothing I could do with him.
Gotcha. I mean, at one point it was pit road, kind of the bane of your existence there for a while. I think you were having some fairly slow stops. At one point it dropped you all the way out beyond the top 10.
Yeah, we were talking about that under caution, and Drew is having the same issue, and I think my guys were nice and consistent, at least 15 flats every time.
Can't argue with it. Well, I mean, it's always frustrating when something outside of your control really kind of rears its ugly head there. But, you're able to come off the final restart. You got up to third after Nick found the fence off the off of the corner, and you kind of found yourself in the right spot at the right time. Kind of were you thinking maybe you could get up there and give Drew some feedback there, or what were you kind of going for?
Yeah, I think Drew and I were pretty even through most of the race. I think he was probably a little better there at the end. I elected to pit there with that last yellow, and I took 2 tires, so it was a little bit tighter than it had been, but I just couldn't slide it into the corner anymore. So, that's the way it goes.
That is the case. We're going to head off next week to the Dover Speedway, but you had a great week. You finished first, you finished third. I know a lot of people that would probably trade you. They're finishing at the same track twice in a week. It's kind of hard to not do much better than that. So, with that being said, any final thoughts anybody want to thank before we let you go finish celebrating your third place?
I just got to congratulate Scott and Drew for finishing first and second there, and thank AdvoCare and James and Ricky for putting the lead together. And you guys for broadcasting. It's a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That was the voice of Brian Mellendorf. We'll see him next week off in Dover. But Tanner, you have caught up with Mr. Excitement himself, Drew Carroll.
Definitely, Mr. Excitement tried making it exciting to try to steal the win over Scott Eckridge, but too little too late. But Drew, man, you had a whale of a run tonight here at Kentucky, and cars were slipping, sliding all over the place. Tell us your drives throughout the race. I mean, were you losing on exit all the time, or how are the tires holding up?
It was a good race for us. The setup was really good. I mean, in my opinion, it was really good. We only got loose off the corner a couple of times. That's if you wore out your tires in the beginning of the run there. But Yeah, we were trying to make it interesting at the end there. I saw all those guys coming down before that last caution. I was like, gee, might as well come too. They're going to get more time. And we were right there with Scott. And then that last restart, I spun the tires, and Cohan got us separated from his bumper. But all in all, it was a good day. I'm really proud of everybody. We were right there with Scott, and that's really something to be proud of. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, Kentucky's probably my worst mile-and-a-half track. So if you would have told me I would have came out here second, I would tell you you're crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what, you made it work, and I mean, you fooled all us if I would have asked you early in the race. But man, you really made a showing here tonight. And speaking of getting on Scott Echrich's bumper, if you hadn't spun the tires on that final restart, would you think you had a shot towards the win and keep up with Scott?
I mean, to be honest with you, Tanner, it was just so close between the top 4 or 5 guys, whoever it was in the running order. And I mean, I think if I was at his bumper, I could probably just try to get him loose enough to where, because the car was already loose, if I could take the air off the back rear spoiler, I probably would have been able to get him loose. But I definitely would have probably had a good shot at the win. And we were just discussing it too. I would have told him I was going to give him a little bit of a nudge if I was anywhere near him, but it just didn't play out like that. And second's still good.
Definitely a good points paying night for you here tonight, Drew. And next week we go to the Dover International Race or Speedway, and that track is, in my opinion, is far different than any other mile-and-a-half track. It's not even a mile-and-a-half; it's a mile, and the banking is even on these straights. Are you a driver that fared Dover well?
Yeah, I really do enjoy Dover. It's a rhythm racetrack. You got to run such a very specific line there to keep the tires on it and keep it from getting loose off the corner. That's going to be big thing, is coming up over the hill onto the straightaways, of how the car just gets upset in the rear. I really like Dover, but I mean, it's been a good track. It's been a bad track to me. I've either been really fast there or really slow. So hopefully, keep our fingers crossed we're on the fast side next week.
Well, you've been pretty competitive every single week. You've been running in top 10 every single week, as far as my vantage point is concerned. But congratulations on your second place finish tonight, and try to go again next week at Dover.
All right, thanks, Tanner. Appreciate you guys broadcasting.
Back to you, Brian. I believe you have ran down to Victory Lane as a Champagne Sprite here in Kentucky. You caught up with Scott Eckrich.
Yeah, Scott, I have to start thinking whenever this series moves to a mile-and-a-half speedway, you've got to just get a big old grin on your face. Your 4th win of the year. Tell us, how it was for you. It wasn't always easy for you.
No, that first run, I thought we had a real good speed on the long run, and unfortunately, I wasn't paying attention and got the wall a little bit there on the end of that one run, and it was a lot more of a struggle from that point on. Definitely had to make sure I hit my marks perfect just to maintain that gap.
Absolutely. So, your 4th win, I mean, like I said, you got a good knack here. I mean, and you only led a scarce 102 of 134 laps. So, I mean, what's, without giving away too much, these mile-and-a-half tracks, they just play into your driving style?
Well, I don't know. It didn't used to be that way. I used to be really, really bad on that long run, these mile-and-a-halves, and with that latest build, when they added the rubber and whatever, just for whatever reason, that seemed to click with my driving style, and I could just hold that line longer and seem to have a little more speed on the long haul.
I just kind of have to ask, is there anywhere you're not fast?
Oh, there'll be places. That'll be the places I'll end up wrecking myself. It'll happen plenty of times this year, I'm sure.
Gotcha. Well, we head off to Dover next week. Tanner kind of pointed up earlier. Just a very unique 1-mile track. How do you think you're going to fare there?
Typically, I do pretty well at Dover. It'll be interesting with this model and whatnot. Passing, I'm sure, as we've seen in the past areas, it's very, very, very difficult. So it's always going to make it interesting for Dover. Not a lot of passing opportunities there.
And it will, but you know what? We're going to watch it all unfold next week. Scott, any final words before we let you continue your champagne celebration?
I would just like to thank Steel Horse Racing and you guys for what you do every week.
We appreciate all the kind words. And thank you for you guys, what you do. You go out there and you put a good show, and I'll tell you what, you make it look pretty easy for me. You're making me look good. So, you get some hard racing out there, but, we'll see you next week at Dover, Scott, and have yourself a great night.
Thank you.
as the voice of our winner, but just outside of the podium, we've got Nick Cohan. Tanner, I think you've caught up with him on pit road.
Yeah, Nick Cohan tonight, you're going to finish in the top 5, finishing 4th tonight, and there's a lot of pit strategy going on. And tell me, how was the race playing out for you? Or are you getting really snappy loose off the corners also, or were you just trying to play conservative? How are you doing throughout the race?
Oh, everyone was loose, even the pace car. I just wanted to ride around. I was actually planning on dropping to the back because I thought it was going to be there was going to be a lot of cautions, but it actually turned out to be a really, really fun race. And just every green run, I would maybe gain like 2 spots and then maybe 1 down pit road. I was having good pit stops all day. And then, we cracked the top 10 there. And that last run, I was on pit road when the caution came out, and I got lucky enough to be 3rd when I came out. So that was, it all worked out. I just slowly creeped my way up there and just saved my stuff. I just, I'm low on incident points, so my main goal was just not to hit anything tonight. And I almost hit a couple of things. I think I went under Parker as he was flipping in too, so that was close.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I think it was. Was it you that went underneath them, or was that Dan Murray? It might have been Dan Murray that just went underneath him. But yeah, that big incident off turn number 2. And man, I'll tell you what, you guys are slipping and sliding on. It was like ice skates tonight. But next week we are going to Dover International Speedway. And do you do well at that racetrack, or how does Nick Cohen do at Dover?
I love Dover. It's one of my favorite tracks, and for some reason, I loved Ricky Stenhouse's Zest car when he first ran it a couple years ago, and it came out when Dover was going on, so I ran that paint scheme and I ended up winning, and then I ran it the next time we were at Dover and I finished 2nd. Then I finished 2nd again in that car. Every time I went to Dover, I used that Zest car, and I haven't finished worse than 2nd. So I think I'm gonna have to break that thing out next week.
Now, just to change a little bit of the topic, just a little bit here, Nick, is before this race today, you were 3 points off from the chase grid. And do you have, before the chase even starts, do you have any races that you have circled on your racetrack or circled on your calendar to possibly have a win?
Of course, that'd be Pocono. It's one of my favorite tracks. I practice there when I'm bored just because it's so much fun to me, and it's my home track. And CJ Automotive is going to be sponsoring, so that'd be cool. That's definitely number 1 on my list, and second's Dover. I really like Dover a lot, so those 2 tracks are top of my list in any car, Cup, Xfinity, and truck. So hopefully we're going to get a good finish next week, and hopefully we can lock ourselves in the chase. It's nail biting back here in the back, getting in a lot of wrecks lately, and being on the borderline of the chase. It's real pain after winning the Winter Series. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been on the bottom grids before, but before we let you go, Nick, Brian, I believe has a question for you.
Yeah, not so much of a question as much of a statement. It's almost like someone taught you a line around here and kind of how to attack the race. And sure enough, you finished 4th with, I think, only 2X. So, you got to.
I don't think it was you.
He says that now, but hey, man, we'll see you next week. Looking for that blue Zest car at Dover, and put on a good show for him, all right?
All right, thanks, Brian.
All right, that was the voice of Nick Cohen. Tanner, boy, that was a hot, slick race. Drivers were all over the place. Turn 2 was in everybody's face, and I've rhymed 3 lines now, and that's about the extent of what I can do. So, what do you think, man?
I'm telling you, as a driver, it can be pretty frustrating driving in hot, slick conditions because, yet again, you are in a fixed setup race, and you can't really, and iRacing doesn't allow you to touch the car in fixed setups. And when dynamic weather comes to play with that, and the track temperatures go up, and you just don't know what the weather is going to be like, it mixes up the competition. Some drivers are accustomed to it. Some drivers just absolutely hate it. So it's definitely frustrating on a driver standpoint, but on a race fan standpoint, it's fun to watch on the racetrack because you can see guys slipping and sliding everywhere, wrecking. That's just a race fan entertainment to watch a race, I shall say. But next week we have the Unacceptable Monster Mash 200 at the Dover International Raceway. So I'm really looking forward to Dover next week. It's going to be an interesting race.
That it is. So with that being said, we're going to shut Joe down and move the circus on to Dover next week. We just want to run through some thank yous and salutes out there. We want to thank Savage Spinners for presenting the race tonight. Series organizer James Krahula, our league sponsors AdvoCare, Savage Spinners for the Pole Award, and Coastal Safety Auditors for our Lucky Dog Award. We also want to thank the software and the hardware that we use. Thank you to the manufacturers of the software and the hardware that we use for our broadcast. You can see listed on your screen right there. Thank you to the team today, Tanner, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about the Global Sim Racing Channel, you can find us at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. And we're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/the Global Sim Racing Channel. Special thank you to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who both provide music to our broadcast, and their music can be found on the locations listed on the screen as well. Go out there and buy their stuff. That's pretty good stuff. As we talked about, next week, May 10th, the Unacceptable Monster Mash 200 at Dover. We also have other upcoming races for other series on screen, so check them out, mark them down on your calendar. And until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.